Partly cloudy skies and cool. Looking at a bit of a rain system, at least moving its way east right now. Still about west of Madison, though. So could be a little bit before we get any of that precipitation. Regardless, though, much cooler today, a high of 78 degrees. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Mike Spalding. Former President Donald Trump back at his New Jersey property today after turning himself in Thursday night in Georgia, where he's facing charges that he attempted to undermine the results of the 2020 presidential election. CBS's Robert Costa has more on what comes next.
It's just a surreal moment for American democracy to have a mugshot of a former president. But politically speaking, many of his rivals and those close to Trump see this as a fundraising opportunity for him. And it frustrates others in the field because they feel like just after the debate this week, 2 days after that showdown in Milwaukee, it's Trump raising money now on his website.
The former president is set to be arraigned next month. Marching on the jailhouse today, a community activist group planning to protest outside the Milwaukee County Jail in response to a number of in-custody deaths at that facility. Over the past 14 months, 6 inmates have died. Civil rights activists, meanwhile, calling for more police accountability in Kenosha County. This after Kenosha police were seen on video arresting a man they suspected was involved in a hit-and-run outside of an Applebee's last month. Here's attorney Kevin O'Connor.
This officer, as far as I know, has not even been disciplined for anything related to this. We are calling to action for Kenosha, Pleasant Prairie, and Applebee's, and we'll take our next steps if that isn't happening.
The man in the video has been identified as Jermel English. He's since been charged with resisting arrest. The actual suspects involved in the crash were found hiding inside the restaurant's bathroom. An investigation underway out west after an F-A-18 Hornet fighter jet crashed outside San Diego. The Marine Corps today confirming the jet went down near the air station at Miramar. Search and rescue efforts do continue. The identities of those involved nor a cause of the crash have been released. Taking a look at your markets in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Updates. Things are looking pretty good on Wall Street this morning. The Dow's up 180 at 34,280. The S&P 500 up 27 points at 4403. The Nasdaq up 112 at 13,576. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Times 9:05.
Every day and everywhere they go, these followers of Jesus, they bring the echo of Easter with them.
Easter may be past, but it isn't over. Learn how we can bring the hope and glad good news of Christ's resurrection into the lives of those we meet. Raising the Praise with guest speaker Pastor John Nunes this week on The Lutheran Hour.
The Lutheran Hour, Sunday mornings at 6:30 on WTMJ.
Radon. It's in your home, and Lifetime Radon Solutions can get it out. Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik. The radon levels in our Menominee Falls home were too high for our comfort level. Lifetime Radon Solutions installed a mitigation system in less than a day to put our minds at ease. Radon's the second leading cause of lung cancer in the United States. Call Lifetime Radon Solutions today for a free home test with no strings attached. Mitigation systems start as low as $9.95. Take care of your family and do what we did. Call Lifetime Radon Solutions today. LifetimeRadon.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-777-1979. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-777-1979. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-777-1979. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-777-1979. 800-777-1979 or biglou.com.
First place, Milwaukee Brewers are back at it tonight. Milwaukee welcoming in the San Diego Padres tonight over at American Family Field to begin a 3-game series. Coverage of tonight's game will get underway on WTMJ beginning at 6 p.m. with our Brewers warm-up. Brandon Woodruff is expected to get the start for the Brewers. From the baseball diamond to the NFL, where the Green Bay Packers are prepping for their final preseason matchup of this summer. The Packers will take on the Seattle Seahawks at Lambeau Field this weekend. What is QB1 in Green Bay looking for in the team's final exhibition exhibition matchup.
I think just keep building what we're doing out there and get some more game reps.
Packers-Seahawks kickoff is set for noon on Saturday. I'm Brandon Snide, WTMJ Sports.
And taking a look at your roads in your Johnson & Sons paving, time saver traffic. Things are looking good on this Friday morning. No major issues, no major delays.
Traffic is sponsored by the famous Fox & Hounds restaurant near Holy Hill.
The famous Fox & Hounds and Mine Chef restaurants are hiring bartenders, servers, food runners, bussers, and hostesses. Make real cash. All ages welcome. Inquire today. Start next week. Great jobs.
Your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Partly cloudy skies, much cooler this afternoon, a high just 78 degrees. Could be in for some rain showers later on this afternoon. Overnight tonight, partly cloudy skies, beautiful, low 66. Tomorrow, partly cloudy and pleasant, a high 73 degrees. Sunday, sunny, pleasant again, a high 73. Monday, mostly cloudy skies, chance of a rainstorm, a high of 80 degrees. Tuesday, mostly sunny, a high of 72. Right now in Milwaukee, it's 70 degrees. I'm Mike Spalding, citing Unlimited WTMJ News Times 9:08.
Good morning, Wisconsin. It's WTMJ Now. News, opinions, Wisconsin. Everything you need to know in the Badger State and beyond. Come give us your thoughts on the Old National Bank talk and text line at 855-616-1620. Old National Bank. Get old. Now here's your hosts, Sandy Maxx and Steve Scaffidi.
Oh, welcome to the Friday edition of the Political Power Hour, the best hour. I say it, yes, therefore it must be true. The best hour of political conversation in the state of Wisconsin. Joe Zepecki, Democratic strategist. Your hair is different today. What's going on with your hair?
Well, I got a cut recently.
Oh, it looks good.
Steve's a little shouty this morning.
Shouty.
Is this
I got energy.
He's excited that you're both here.
DeSantis playbook? Just yell really
Come
loud.
out shouting. Bill McCoshen, Republican strategist. We got to get your mic on. Get your mic on there, buddy.
Get my mic on. Sorry about that. You're smiling like Ramaswamy, too.
Yeah.
Looks good over there.
Rama. Smarmy.
Ooh. Come on. Now
did you make that up?
Ooh. No, somebody else made it up. I stole it. All radio is stolen ideas from somebody else. Yes, we are going to be spicy. But you were in the room, Bill McCoshen, so I'm going to let you set the scene for all of us who weren't in the room. What was it like?
Big night for Milwaukee. We're able to showcase the city and get ourselves ready, sort of a trial run for next summer's RNC convention here in the beautiful city of Milwaukee in the great state of Wisconsin. I, as a coach like Joe, loved the competitiveness of six of them. I didn't think that Asa Hutchinson was particularly competitive, nor was Tim Scott, in my opinion. But the other six came to play, and I like that. It did get spicy. There were some sharp elbows from time to time.
Burgum in your six-pack?
I liked him.
Okay.
Yeah. He's only going to
exactly.
I thought he was reasonable.
Other than being gutty.
I thought, he came across as reasonable. He had some decent answers.
You like a 10th Amendment conservative, don't you? A states' rights guy.
Fact that he's willing to, get up there and say what he thinks. And the reality is he doesn't have a chance. And we'll talk about that through the course of the hour. My top four were Ron DeSantis. By the way, the Washington Post and 538 agree with me. They polled GOP primary voters after the fact, and DeSantis was the number one. They thought he won the debate. I thought Ramaswamy, and Steve and I are going to disagree on that, was number two, and I had Nikki Haley number three. Mike Pence probably number four. The problem for two of those four, let's go through those. Vivek Ramaswamy, he was in the outsider lane on Wednesday night, but there is no outsider lane if Donald Trump's in the race, right? So there's no path for him to get the nomination as long as Donald Trump is in this race.
He's running for vice president.
Of course he is. Mm-hmm. And I think everybody needs to understand that. There is no path for Vivek to win this nomination in any scenario with Donald Trump in the race. The other guy who is in a similar spot is Mike Pence. Mike Pence cannot be elected in a Republican primary. There's just no chance. Whatever you thought of him, whatever you think of his career, I think he's a good man. I think he did the right thing. I think history will be kind to him. There's literally no path for him to win a GOP primary, and MAGA voters will make sure of that. So if he was on your checklist or scorecard on Wednesday night, rule him out because he's not going to make it. So that leaves on the top four, DeSantis and Haley. They both got bumps, according to the quickest polls out. I would caution everyone not to read too much into the first couple polls. Let's see where this thing is at in 3 weeks. But DeSantis did what he needed to do to sort of reestablish his campaign. And I thought Nikki overperformed. I didn't have her on my list of top 3 last week when we talked about this.
She blew me away.
She was outstanding. She clearly had the best answer on abortion, and the boys on the stage better figure that out sooner than later.
Great point. All right, you're the Democrat in the room. What do you think?
I thought the ill health that the Republican Party finds itself in was on full display. Some of that was the crowd in the room, and we'll get to that. But the divisions within this political party are real, they are deep, and they are going to be a problem for Republicans going forward. Now, in terms of some of the the highs and lows, the winners and losers, I agree. I thought Nikki Haley was exceptional and made clear she's not running for vice president, which was one of the things that everybody sort of assumed. Her going right at the Trump-Pence administration and the Republicans on the stage and Republicans in Congress who added $8 trillion to the national debt under the 4 years of Trump was, I thought, the moment of the night. Now, maybe that's because that's good for my side, and President Biden was able to tweet that out and go, what she said. But I thought that was pretty, kind of off the top rope. I think Ramaswamy helped himself just by virtue of driving the conversation.
Yeah.
If we learned anything from the Trump years and how Trump took the Republican Party hostage, it really was this sort of old school thought that no press is bad press. If they're talking about you, it doesn't matter what they're saying. He made sure people are talking about him. And I thought Mike Pence did really, really well. He was feistier than I thought he was. I've never seen him do I'm going to stuff this little kid in a locker, but he did it to Vivek Ramaswamy.
There's our opening statements. We are just getting warmed up. And I'm in a yelling, shouting mood today, but in a good way.
But you know how to smile, unlike Governor DeSantis.
I do. And I will do my best to smile throughout the program today. Joseph Pecky, Bill McCoshen, Sandy Maxx, and Steve. Political Power Hour, the best hour of political conversation in the state of Wisconsin and beyond.
Sandy and Steve will be back after this. The Padres are coming to Milwaukee? Should we tell them we have more bars than churches here?
In heaven there is no beer.
Hit to left and deep. Get up! Get up! Get out of here! Gone for a Devons!
Our Brewers Radio Network coverage, presented by American Family Insurance, starts tonight at 6:35. We are the home of the Brewers. 620 WTMJ.
Hey, I'm Sandy Maxx with WTMJ, and I've been telling you for a while about my friends at 3 Pillars in Lake Country. They have a gorgeous wooded campus. Imagine 300 acres of serenity and safety along the Bark River. A perfect setting for your retirement to enjoy the changing seasons and just enjoy life. They are expanding and taking reservations for new high-end active adult residences. They'll have amenities like a supper club, a relaxing spa, a pub, a fun dog park, a theater, a fitness center, and a lot more. With a spa and a supper club, those are on my checklist. I want to live there. 4 residence styles to choose from, all those amenities. There's really nothing like it in Wisconsin. They'll open in 2025, and they're almost 50% reserved, but you still have time to get on their priority list. See for yourself right now online at 3pillars.org.
Russ bought his first home in Wisconsin with a mortgage from Accunet when today's college freshmen were still in diapers. A few Friday mornings ago, Russ emailed saying he and his wife were ready to buy their forever home. And by 4 o'clock, we were all on a conference call with their real estate agent talking about what it would take to write a winning offer in today's inventory-starved market. And then it happened. They met their dream home face-to-face Saturday afternoon and wrote an offer $15,000 over asking, accompanied by an Accunet property-specific pre-approval letter that guaranteed they could make good on that offer without selling their existing home first and without requiring an appraisal. That's right, no appraisal required, which both the listing agent and seller loved. I can't promise your very first offer will be accepted like Russ and Julie's, but I will promise Accunet can help you and your agent craft the most attractive offer possible. Hey, don't settle for a flimsy, unimaginative bank pre-approval. Get started with your rock-solid, guaranteed pre-approval by clicking on the blue button today at accunet.com.
Why settle for just a job when you could have a career in the exciting automobile industry? The Auto Dealers Association of Metro Milwaukee new car dealers have technician, sales, administrative, and management positions available now. The first word in career is car, and one of the best places to find a great career opportunity is at an Adam new car dealer.
Go to work happy when you go to work in the auto industry. For current, great-paying job opportunities, visit adam.jobs. That's ADAMM.jobs.
It's WTMJ Now.
If you have a question for the gentleman today, Bill McCoshen, Republican strategist, Joseph Heckey on the Democratic side of things, 855-616-1620, the old National Bank talking text line. Gentlemen, a couple quick ones here. How did Fox do, Bill?
Well, in 2016, there were 24 million viewers of the first debate in Cleveland with Donald Trump and Scott Walker and Jeb Bush in the middle. This one had 13 million viewers, so significantly less. But having said that, for the 8 candidates on the stage, 13 million is more than they've been speaking to at any other point during the campaign. So they'll take what they can get.
Those are also original views. There's a lot of people watching. They watch clips on YouTube and everything else.
Right. So not as dramatic as it was in 2016, but a good start nonetheless. And hopefully Donald Trump will be on the stage. Maybe not in California, but the one after that. And by then the field should be culled. As we say in Wisconsin. The herd will be called.
To how many?
They have to. I mean, the reality is a lot of these guys just don't have a chance, and they have to realize that. If you didn't qualify for the debate on Wednesday night, you should be out already. And if next week's polling show you at 2, 3, or 4, even 4%, and you didn't make an impact on Wednesday night, it's time for you to drop to it. Regardless of how much you might have in your super PAC, yeah, I'm talking to you, Tim Scott, there's no path for you. You didn't appear presidential on Wednesday night. You can't resurrect that. The first impression is the lasting impression. It worked for DeSantis. It worked for Haley on Wednesday night. Nobody else on the stage stood out other than Ramaswamy. And as I said in the opening segment, he doesn't really have a path because he's trying to fill the outsider lane, which Donald Trump has overfilled.
Bill, I noticed you said hopefully Trump will participate in the second or third debates. Why do you say that?
Well, I think it's in his interest to participate in these. Maybe it's in his interest to get some of these guys out of the field first. Chris Christie in particular. And I have friends, including Steve, who thought Christie did fairly well. I wasn't that impressed with him. Without Trump on the stage, it was like he didn't have his fastball. The guy he wanted to take on wasn't there. And I don't think Chris has staying power in this race. So, by the third debate, he should be gone. The reality is this cycle is moving way faster than any in our lifetime. Donald Trump will absolutely be the nominee by Thanksgiving if this field isn't down to 3 by then.
All right, Joe, how did Fox do?
I want to talk about the moderators.
Yeah, well, it's part of it. They work for
lost
Fox.
Control of the debate. They were not helped by the room.
Have you seen the previous debates? I thought they actually did a pretty decent job.
And they were not helped by the chaos agent on stage. I mean, that
who turned out to be Mike Pence.
Guy wouldn't stop
Sleepy
talking.
Mike Pence.
I thought Ramaswamy's inclusion in the debate just changed the whole dynamic. If you take him out, it would have been a much different conversation, a much more respectful conversation. He was the chaos agent. I think that was probably his plan, and he executed it well. I mean, in the last segment, I said I think he did himself some favors by making himself the center of the conversation. But to not even try to ask the question after secure the border, what do we do about immigration reform? To not ask about things like tariffs and the trade war that former President Trump proposed just this week. These are Republican issues that you have to try to see who has their A game on, and they didn't do it. I understand they were sort of captives to the audience when it came to the Trump question, which they had to do, but it was a tough look. I'm not sure anybody could have done a better job, but they didn't do a great job.
From your side of the aisle, I mean, Biden came out of it almost unscathed. I don't think he was hardly mentioned.
Right. I mean, Biden and Trump. Neither
and
one
Hunter.
of them.
There was one oblique reference to Hunter.
These candidates were so busy fighting with each other, they lost the forest for the trees and forgot to indict Joe Biden, forgot to make the case against their frontrunner. It was bizarre in that respect, and that's what I mean. It was chaos.
All right, think about this during the break, because we've got to go to break here. Upcoming future schism in the Republican Party. I thought Nikki Haley, her abortion comments signaled something that may be coming, a hard reality for women voters who are Republican and just general voters, because I have talked to some women who typically don't identify as Republican or conservative, and they sort of liked what Nikki Haley said on that stage. And that is a big problem when you're talking about Republicans staying together, trying to win, oh, by the way, the next presidential election. Bill, Joe, after this.
More of WTMJ Now after this. New rules, same old Bob Uecker.
Time call now. Here's a penalty. Offside.
All season long, right here on the home of the Brewers, WTMJ.
Blaine's Farm and Fleet's Labor Day sale is going on now, featuring unbeatable deals on fall essentials for your home, work, and vehicles. Like innovative, quality-driven Goodyear tires. Right now, buy 3 Goodyear tires, get 1 free, with up to $100 in consumer rebates when you buy 4. Plus, when your car's in the shop, get 10% off in-store purchases with $100 or more spent on tire and auto service. See store for details. Tires and batteries, trust and care. A Blaine's Farm and Fleet promise since 1955.
My partners had told me I should get my knee replaced. I was in my 40s, and I decided that I wouldn't do that.
That's orthopedic surgeon Dr. John Herzog, who found regenerative medicine years ago and became a believer.
It changed my life around. It improved me to a point where I was able to jog again.
That's when Dr. Herzog switched his focus from surgery to helping his patients with natural biologics.
I've treated at least 5,000 patients. I believe your body has everything it needs to heal itself.
Today, you'll find Dr. Herzog at QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in this exciting field of medicine that can give lasting pain relief with no downtime, no drugs, and no surgery.
I have patients coming up to me that I did 10 years ago saying, Doc, my elbow's still working great. I'm playing tennis 3 days a week.
Call QC Kinetics now to explore alternative ways to deal with your pain. It's a free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Is there anything sweeter than the crisp sound of a driver when it connects purely with the ball? Many golfers evaluate the quality of their shot by the sound it makes. You may feel the same about your financial plan. Something doesn't seem, look, or sound right. Think of Annex Wealth Management as financial swing doctors. We'll give you the truly objective analysis that comes from a fee-only fiduciary with no products to push or commissions to chase. If you need help, talk to our pros. Get started at annexwealth.com.
WTMJ Now.
You are listening, of course, to the Political Power Hour. Our guests, as always, Joseph Pecky, Democratic strategist, Bill McCutcheon.
Having fun between segments.
As always.
Just trading stories about where we
If
all
you only
watched
knew.
the debate and what the drinking games were during the debate or not.
This is kind of a serious one, but I've gotten some text on the Old National Bank Talking text line about the presence of Nikki Haley. I called it presidential, I think, in the social media tweet, and I loved the response. And I thought, for the first time, Bill, as a Republican, I heard someone actually address abortion in a way that most Americans probably thought made some good sense, because we're never going to get to an all-out ban on abortion in this country. I just don't think it's going to happen. And there's certainly enough women in this country to say, we're not going to let that happen. So as a conservative Republican, are we seeing this split on abortion that could change the future of this party?
So what I liked about it was her truth-telling. We are not going to have a national ban on abortion, nor are we going to have a national approval of abortion anytime soon. The Dobbs decision made this a states' rights decision. The true conservative position should be states' rights. So I'm okay with Dobbs. If you want to change how New York does it or Illinois does it, then you're going to have to elect people that are pro-life in those states. That's the way it should be. That's how our founders intended it to be. Nikki Haley's answer on abortion, my wife she kind of liked Vivek. I mentioned that last week. She was very pleased with Nikki Haley's answer on abortion last night. That's why I sort of jokingly, but not really joking, said the boys on the stage better understand how she did that and what she said, because it is appealing. That's a reality. There won't be a national ban. I don't care how many pro-life organizations there are, either in Wisconsin or nationally. You're not going to elect enough people to get that done at the national level. You're going to have to do it state by state. Right now, Wisconsin's a relatively pro-life state based on the 1849 law. That could change, of course. The Supreme Court could decide something differently. But I think she handled that masterfully. And as a woman, it came across very compassionate, right? So she had the twofer there. She had the right answer, and the fact that it was a woman delivering it, I think, served her well.
Well, the screaming, angry, election-denying Republicans out there, will they ever accept anything Nikki Haley says?
Yeah, I think they might. I think she opened their minds. I mean, the other part of the 538 Washington Post poll is who would you consider voting for now? And this is actually the untold story of the debate the other night. Going into the debate, Donald Trump was far and away the top choice. Now Ron DeSantis is the top choice. He had 67%, 65% said they would consider Trump, and Haley moved up like 30 points. She moved into third place on who you would consider voting for. So from that vantage point, Haley got the biggest lift. The guy I thought bungled this was probably the most pro-life guy on the stage, which was Mike Pence. I mean, I don't know why he was arguing for a national ban when he knows it's not reality.
Because that's always been his position.
It's both been his position, and it's his only hope is that Iowa evangelicals do for him what they did for Huckabee and Santorum and Cruz. I don't think so either, but it's a recognizable and like acceptable political strategy. He and Scott are going for that same lane. If evangelicals are ever willing to move off of Trump, who's going to be the alternative?
Iowa's got a heartbeat bill, right? And Burgum said he's got one in North Dakota.
DeSantis and Ron DeSantis 6 week, but didn't. And curiously, Ron DeSantis, squealed and squirmed and managed to not really answer the question.
I didn't like his answer. Yeah, I'll be honest with you.
Between that,
the other thing about Pence is Mr. Pro-Life was talking about a 15-week ban. That's a far cry from no abortions.
Yeah, that kind of just kind of went under the radar.
Right, and he's been saying that for several weeks, and nobody's really picked up on that. That he's now at 15 weeks when the true pro-life position is.
Well, that's the reality
none.
that I think conservatives have to face. That is the reality that will actually allow you to win elections.
Right.
Why is that hard for people?
I don't know how many more bad election cycles Republicans need to have before they figure this out, but they're going to need to have more bad ones.
Yeah, other than cheerleading for bad news about Republicans, I mean, your takeaway on the Nikki Haley answer to that question about abortion, I think it's significant.
Yes, and she did a big speech on abortion soon after she launched her candidacy. I think they've always known that as the only woman in the race, they had a special credibility and way to try to figure this issue out for Republicans. But I still don't think they have, is the long and short of it. I also want to make a point about Ron DeSantis. What's happening in this conversation is kind of what was happening on Wednesday night. He disappeared for stretches. He disappears from this conversation for stretches. And when he speaks or makes a moment, it's sort of awkward, right? Who's going to pardon Trump? Or who would support Trump even if he's convicted? And 6 hands go up, but his is the 6th, and he's kind of looking left and right to see what other people are doing first. That's a bad look. Not answering the question about the 6-week abortion ban that he signed in Florida. That's a bad look. This guy, I just don't get it. I understand what the numbers are saying, but I don't think it was a very good night for him, and he disappeared for long stretches.
Well, that's the one point my biggest criticism of Brett Baer and Martha McCallum were the 2 questions where they asked people to raise their hand. That's first grade. Come on, you just don't do that.
It's just dumb.
It's juvenile. Ask them their position and make them defend it.
Why does DeSantis make this point the first time? But then when the question is about Trump, as opposed to saying no, we've been over this. If you want to talk about this, let's talk about it. He follows the pack. He looks to his left. He looks to his right. He goes, okay, if Mike Pence is saying he'll vote for Donald Trump if he's convicted, I guess I have to too. And he meekly puts his arm up. That's not leadership.
Prepped a lot of statewide candidates for debates. I would say DeSantis got what he needed out of this debate, right? My criticism of anyone
on to continue on in the campaign.
You survive in advance. The guy that I thought was the most different hour to hour, Ramaswamy was outstanding in my opinion in the first hour. Then he got sort of cocky and smart alecky in the second hour, and that hurt him. And his negatives went up more than anybody else on the stage on Wednesday night. Yes, he was noticed, but it wasn't all good notice, right? And yes, they're talking about him. We'll see if any press is good press when you're, very little known. But
he's in second place.
It was. I don't think he's in second
DeSantis.
place. I don't think he's in second.
Look at
place.
the state of Florida. If it's DeSantis and Trump, who wins that primary?
Trump.
Well, let's
you said it quickly, but will he?
Yeah, right. If you held the thing tomorrow, absolutely.
It's not tomorrow.
It's not tomorrow though.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. But the question that wasn't asked of Ramaswamy is, he said, the follow-up question that should have been asked, he said Donald Trump was the best president in the 21st century. The follow-up should have instantly been, then he's in the race. Why are you running? Right? And nobody asked him that. I don't think he can answer it.
That's the problem with 8 candidates. You just don't get into any depth on this stuff, and you have people like hard charging, like DeSantis. I don't think he answered the question until the special ops one about Mexico. He was just saying stuff as loudly as possible right from his campaign.
He's the Automatron candidate 3000.
He might be the guy, though. So we're going to have to think about that. All right, Joseph Pecky, Bill McCosh, and Sandy Maxx, and Steve, Political Power Hour. We still have a solid half hour to go. If you have a question for the gentleman or the lady, 855-616-1620, the Old National Bank talk and text line.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
Our house needs a lot of work. That roof, siding.
J&J Contractors.
It's not just the outside. The bathroom needs to be completely redone.
J&J Contractors. They do it all with top-of-the-line quality craftsmanship that's all custom or semi-custom. J&J Contractors do full remodels of kitchens, baths, and basements. Your project manager is accessible to you the entire time, on-site or via their cell phone. No being passed from person to person. Visit their beautiful showroom in Greendale today. Just Google J&J Contractors.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-577-0892. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-577-0892. That's 800-577-0892. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!
Are you constantly repeating yourself but she's not following your directions?
Sit! Sit!
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids.
WTMJ Now.
Thanks for tuning in to the Political Power Hour with Joseph Pecky, Bill McCosh, and Sandy and Steve on WTMJ Now. All right, so some of the texters have asked, and we were chatting during the break there about the audience for the debates. It was 4,000 people or something at the
4,000 plus.
What'd you think? What'd you make of the audience?
Too big for a debate like that. You take a lot of risk because the crowd can get into it regardless. What you don't see when you're watching this on TV is the moderators come out ahead of time and they give the room instructions on how this is supposed to go down. Clearly, by about 40 minutes in, those instructions went out the window to the point where Brett Baer had to turn around and
Which I liked, by
sort
the
of
way.
scold them.
I love that.
I did too. That
what was
his
better,
only
him
hope.
scolding the audience or reminding Ron DeSantis that Donald Trump was beating him by 40 points?
Okay, Democrat.
Yeah. So, well,
I thought there was going to be a follow-up after that. It was like Baer just smacked him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he smacked Chris Christie with his first question too.
Oh, and also, what's with the UFO question? That was the dumbest thing ever.
Dumb.
To the crowd.
Wasted time.
Here's my question. What it seemed like at home was there was very little consistency in terms of what was getting cheers and what was getting jeers or booed. Like, it felt like sometimes, like when Christie and Hutchinson were making the sort of like anti-Trump case,
they got booed.
But it didn't just feel like booze on TV. If you're telling me it was just booze in the room, I believe you. But then, like, the Ukraine stuff, it felt like first they were, like, cheering for people who said don't spend any money in Ukraine. And then Nikki Haley, while she's stuffing Vivek Ramaswamy in a locker, is making the case for Ukraine. And now the crowd is behind her.
Sit down, little
it just
boy.
Sort of felt, did it feel inconsistent in the room?
Well, it may have appeared that these were Trumpers, but they were also pretty boisterous in favor of DeSantis when he answered.
That's the sense I got.
Yeah, so they're sort of in the same universe of folks. They had people on the stage that they liked. They had people on the stage that they didn't like. Those decisions were predetermined. It really didn't have a lot of connection to what they were saying. And I'd prefer debates without audiences. I think those are better. But I understand from a candidate standpoint, you probably feed off the audience to a certain degree and maybe generate some energy out of that.
That was my point, because yesterday Steve was contending, like, why even have the audience there? And if you move that to a sterile studio, it's just...
Then it becomes, listen, and we appreciate the Broadcasters Association, but if anybody's watched like a Wisconsin Broadcasters Association
on a Friday night at
8 o'clock, and there's nobody in the room except for the candidates and the moderators, they get a little dry.
Dry, yeah.
It could also have been shorter, in my opinion. I know eight candidates are a little hard to do that, but maybe if they get to 4, I think an hour 15, hour and a half is plenty.
Hour and a half is plenty, for sure.
Why don't we have a longer attention span as a country? Can we put that on next week's agenda?
But I was surprised how much issues were discussed. I really thought this was going to be more rapid fire and more slogans and name calling and attempts at zingers.
Well, so that raises an interesting point. The other thing that was missing, I thought the attacks on Biden were missing for long stretches. The attacks on Trump were missing for long stretches. And where was Ron DeSantis's war on woke? There was a little bit of the culture war stuff.
It was only mentioned like a couple times.
Not
right?
a lot.
Yeah.
Probably like less than 5 to 10 minutes of the debate was about this culture war stuff. And I thought that was interesting.
I think that's part of the reason his numbers went up, right? He moved to bigger issues that more people care about. And so I was okay with that.
I thought he smacked out of the park on his answer about crime and those Florida DAs.
Oh, he put Brett in his place when Brett says crime is rising in Florida. He says, oh, no, it's not. It's a 50-year low.
Yeah, and then he tried to point to
Miami?
Miami. Yeah. I thought he was brilliant on that one. That's the Ron DeSantis I think a lot of people would like to see.
I agree.
All the other stuff's just political noise.
So not the Ron DeSantis who yelled at the young conservative who dared to ask the Republican candidates, like, hey, my generation cares about climate change. Can you, like, maybe throw us a bone? And how dare you?
I will give him credit for putting that question in there.
Yeah,
I agree. That was brave.
It wasn't brave because the moderators wouldn't do it. They found a kid to do it.
True.
But that kid is certainly brave. That's not an easy thing to do, and we should respect that young man for asking that question.
But to Sandy's point, Brett and Martha went in with binders. We joke about binders going back to Mitt Romney in 2012. Binders of women.
Yes.
But they had, hundreds of questions more than likely, and they only got to about a dozen.
All right, we got to take a break here, but I want to kind of pivot because something big happened yesterday in Georgia.
Really? What happened? Did I miss something?
It was picture day.
Oh, it was picture day.
And a car show, I think.
And a car show, yes. We'll get to that and more with our guests, Bill McCoshen and Joseph Pecky, after this on WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
Russ bought his first home in Wisconsin with a mortgage from Accunet when today's college freshmen were still in diapers. A few Friday mornings ago, Russ emailed saying he and his wife were ready to buy their forever home. And by 4 o'clock, we were all on a conference call with their real estate agent talking about what it would take to write a winning offer in today's inventory-starved market. And then it happened. They met their dream home face-to-face Saturday afternoon and wrote an offer $15,000 over asking, accompanied by an Accunet property-specific pre-approval letter that guaranteed they could make good on that offer without selling their existing home first and without requiring an appraisal. That's right, no appraisal required, which both the listing agent and seller loved. I can't promise your very first offer will be accepted like Russ and Julie's, but I will promise Accunet can help you and your agent craft the most attractive offer possible. Hey, don't settle for a flimsy, unimaginative bank pre-approval. Get started with your rock-solid, guaranteed pre-approval by clicking on the blue button today at accunet.com.
Hey, Eric Bilstead here with WTMJ's Wisconsin's Morning News for J.D. Griffiths. They've been at it for more than 70 years. J.D. Griffiths has been Milwaukee's premier provider and builder of garage doors. My wife and I went to jdgriffiths.com, set ourselves up for a free at-home estimate. It was terrific. It was easy. And now we are the proud owners of 2 new garage doors customized to what we wanted. jdgriffiths.com is the website. And by the way, J.D. Griffiths does more than just brand new garage doors. They also service and repair current doors as well. JDGriffiths.com, again, is the website. So whether you're looking to upgrade your garage door for added customization, increase your home value, or need dependable service and repairs, J.D. Griffiths is here to help you make the most of this summer season and enjoy a hassle-free garage door experience. J.D. Griffiths and JDGriffiths.com. Get your free at-home estimate today.
Gillette Intimate gives guys a gentle and easy shave. Don't treat yourself like junk. Respect it with Gillette Intimate, the best a man can get. Buy now at a retailer near you.
At Fisher Investments, we do things differently, and other money managers don't understand why.
Because our way works great for us.
But it may not work for your clients. That's why Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, obligated to put clients first. It's the highest standard for a financial advisor.
So, what do you provide? Cookie-cutter portfolios like the rest of us?
No cookie-cutter portfolios here. Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to meet each client's goals and needs.
But you do sell investments that earn you high commissions, right? And make commissions when you make trades for your clients?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission investment products, and we never earn commissions on trades.
So what's in it for you?
Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when our clients do better. When it comes to helping clients achieve a comfortable retirement, we're clearly different. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
It's WTMJ Now.
All right, happy Friday, everybody. Yes, Bill and Joe in studio along with Steve and Sandy. This is from Margie and Mequon on the Old National Bank Talk and Text line. This is my favorite hour of the week. Thanks for that, Margie. I agree. This is a kind of a story I've heard many times before. I am blessed to have 40 friends and family members who supported Trump for 2 terms. All caps. None of us will vote for Trump again, and if he is our party's candidate, we will not vote whatsoever. Why is everyone so sure Trump is the guy?
Wednesday night may have started to place some doubt in that, right? I mentioned it earlier. The 538 Washington Post poll after the debate showed that more people were now leaning towards or considering Ron DeSantis. Does that hold up over time? We'll see. Is it Nikki Haley 3 months from now? Maybe. But I think the advantage for the 8 folks that were on the stage was they got to introduce themselves on their terms, right? They didn't have to deal with Donald Trump and his nonsense. They did have to deal with Ramaswamy and his nonsense, but, you know, he several times he was put in his place, either by Haley or Pence. And there were a few times that Ramaswamy had the better of the two. But it is a reality in GOP politics that I tell people I don't see any difference here in the state of Wisconsin. Donald Trump lost the state of Wisconsin in 2020. I don't see that he's added to his coalition here. And my wife and I would be in the category where Megan and her 40 friends are. Margie. Which is we voted for him twice. My wife was a donor of him. She was a hardcore Trumper, and we're not there. So I don't know how he brings us back or Margie and her friends back. And I can tell you how he won't do it. The notion that you can run a sledgehammer campaign in the state of Wisconsin and literally try and personally destroy DeSantis or Haley, whoever is standing in February of next year, is nonsense. We may not be Minnesota nice, but we're fair here in the state of Wisconsin, and we don't like that. And that's his strategy, and he continues to do that to try and eliminate these folks. It frankly won't work here, and Wisconsin will not be in play if that's where we're at.
The reason everybody keeps saying that he's likely to be the nominee is we can only look at what's happened in the past, and we like to think that the rules of political gravity still apply. There has never been at this point, like in late August and the year before a nominating year, a candidate in as strong a position as Donald Trump who did not get the party nomination. That said, when Donald Trump goes down, and he will at some point politically, I do think it is likely to be one of those stories where it happens very, very slowly and then all at once. And so that could happen, and I think the reason it might happen kind of gets us into what happened yesterday and Picture Day in Georgia.
Mugshot, and the crazy thing about it is he tweets this out, finally gets back on Twitter or X, puts never surrender. It's a mugshot of you surrendering. And now you took off the little ID from the sheriff's office there or the courthouse, but you surrendered. So that's the ultimate example of what Donald Trump does is he tries to misdirect.
He's leaning into this. I'm old enough to remember when former Democratic vice presidential nominee John Edwards got a mugshot taken. And, man, you could tell he was in the makeup chair for a while, and he had a big, bright smile and was looking his Sunday best because he didn't want to look like a crook. Donald Trump is leaning into, I am the tough, angry, glowering strong man. And there is clearly a part of the Republican Party that is still the constituency of. And back to Margie, listen, if she and her family don't want Trump to be the nominee, then they got to make sure they don't just vote in general elections. They got to go vote in primary elections, people like that too. But back to Trump, like, I think even after everything of the last, what's it been now, 7-8 years, there is still among the American people an expectation that our presidents have some level of discipline and ability to comport themselves. What I'm looking to see between now and the trials, I think there's a big sort of, question mark out there. Can he follow the respective judges' rules that they set for him? Or will he not be able to help himself? I think you're right. But if he can't, that might be one of those things where the American people and even more Republicans start to go like, come on, man. Like, I don't even believe in this indictment, but like, just go to trial and beat it. Beat the rap, right? But if he can't even do that.
I think the four of us would agree the one thing Donald Trump is a master marketer, right? He's his best marketer and he's his worst marketer. Yesterday, I thought was some of his best work. Remember, he had an agreement with the prosecutor in Fulton County that mugshot would not be released till 4 p.m. today. Well, he's barely on the plane, and he releases it himself and then markets it. And he's going to make millions off the merchandise he's selling today with that mugshot on it. So from a marketing standpoint, Joe's right. It's not presidential. It's funny. I mean, I laughed about it when I saw the merchandise, but it's not even remotely presidential.
Is there a judge in any of these cases, any of these indictments, 4 now, who is brave enough, including the arraignment, which is going to happen, on September 5th in Fulton County, Georgia? We're going to say to you, here's the deal. You do anything, we'll revoke that bail. Anybody brave enough to say that to a candidate who's campaigning for president?
It's going to have to be a sliding scale. He's going to get more like a typical defendant. You get one strike when you're out on bail and we set conditions, and then that's it. You're either in pretrial detention or you're getting fined. He will have probably 2 or 3 strikes. My guess is he's going to keep swinging and missing.
Yeah, there's risk, right? Does that lead? Do you like the match that leads to civil unrest? And none of us want that.
No,
right?
But his
supporters
fear.
are highly passionate. We all know that. So it's a risk.
Joseph Pecky, Bill McCosh, we'll take a break. We got the grab bag coming up next. You're listening, of course, to the Political Power Hour right here on WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this. A Brewers game and a Vienna beef hot dog. Ah, the perfect recipe.
Wow, this is really good.
The only thing to make it better? Winning tickets to the Brewers game with Ticket Tuesdays on Wisconsin's Afternoon News. Every Tuesday at 3:35, it's Ticket Tuesdays, presented by Vienna Beef, the official hot dog of the Brewers. Better than all the rest.
Matt had just moved into his first apartment and needed furniture to fill it, but he didn't have a big credit line. So I told him about St. Vincent de Paul. There's always a nice selection of gently used furniture there, and sometimes you can find some really cool retro pieces. And the best part is, it's always super affordable. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores for first-time furniture buyers or anyone looking for great deals on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield and 23rd and Lincoln in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Now's a great time to get signed up for your exterior work, like siding and windows. Why put it off? The lines are shorter, and we'll be ready to take on your next project.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
Does your knee pain keep getting worse? How about that pain in your shoulder or hip or back? Well, don't let them tell you steroids and surgery are your only option. Take my advice now and call QC Kinetics. Hey, it's Greg Matzik. QC Kinetics can make that pain go away with all natural advanced regenerative medicine. They're helping people here in Milwaukee every day with these amazing natural treatments that restore and repair damaged joint tissue. It's like turning back the clock. Regenerative medicine uses concentrated healing agents from your own body to stimulate that damaged tissue in your joints so they can work like they're supposed to. And there's zero downtime. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in this exciting medical breakthrough, and patients here are getting real lasting relief and saying no to surgery and drugs. If you have pain due to injury or arthritis, this is a remarkable option that you need to check out, and the consultation is free. Call QC Kinetics now at 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. WTMJ Now.
All right, we call this the grab bag section of the Political Power Hour. Joseph Pecky, Bill McCutcheon. Who wants to go first?
I'm going to go first this week. I got two. My first is the part I liked about my favorite part about yesterday. If I think the whole thing's tragic that a former president was mugshotted at the Fulton County Jail, but in his the forms where he filled out, he listed himself at 215 pounds. Mm-hmm. So if we are now identifying as the weight we prefer, right, then I'm a $195. Yeah. So I'm fully endorsing making up whatever weight you want to make. There's no chance in this lifetime Donald Trump is 215 pounds. No. So I give him credit for that. It was funny. My second one is Oliver Anthony. A month ago, no one knew who this gentleman was from the hills of Virginia. He now has 3 of the top 10 Billboard songs in America.
Thank you, Fox.
3 of them. And the Fox crew leads off the first GOP presidential debate with one of his songs. So Oliver Anthony, from rags to riches in 30 days or less. It's the true American story. Congratulations.
It was not a great debate opening question, though. And I think we learned that from the answers. Great job. Great for that young man, certainly. But it's a strange way to start a debate. They started strange, and then by ending on UFOs, they kind of ended strange.
Real quick, other than the video at the beginning, that could have been anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
That was the only nod to Milwaukee, really.
Yeah. I'm going to take some medicine. I sat here last week, and I said I thought both Tim Scott and Chris Christie would be folks to watch on the debate stage. Boy, did Zepecki call that one wrong.
But you did call the number of viewers right. You said it would be less than 20 million.
It wasn't on a broadcast network. That's the first problem.
Yeah, that's tough. My grab bag is a thank you and a good luck to all of the parents as school is starting up. Great job all summer with the kids running around.
You survived.
I know in our house
survived summer with my kids.
Forward to it. And a thank you in advance. I think all of the teachers are back in school now already, getting ready for the school year. Educators, administrators, support staff. We appreciate you. We see you, and we love the great work you do with our kids. Have a great school year.
Yeah, heavy lifting there. I got an email from somebody. I thought this is important. When everybody sends out the pictures on social media, don't have your address in the picture. That's not a good thing when we're talking about little kids.
Yeah.
Make sure that's not in the picture.
Great point.
A safety point that you have to think about nowadays.
For actual picture day as opposed to yesterday's Fulton County Jail picture day.
I just, the menacing, grimacing Trump, I understand why he did it, but I guess for me, Bill, I'm going to take it to me for the last minute here or so. And I think Sandy has a quick one, too, we can run through. Will Republicans, this is a big question, Bill, are they going to come to their senses on this? Because this seems like an exercise of fire. If we're going to nominate Trump, we might as well just hand over the keys to Democrats for the next 4 years.
You'll know if we're coming to our senses if the field is down to 3 or 4 by October 1st. If it's still 6, 7, 8, we have not come to our senses, and we are heading for a train wreck.
Yeah. Bold prediction: Doug Burgum will be the first one to drop out. It's such a tough way to go.
He's got to heal up.
You can't run for president with a torn Achilles.
You can't hop for president.
Yeah,
Biden ran from his basement. I think
we heard that in a number of mentions. Sandy has a fun one though for our grab bag.
Are we going really fun?
Yeah.
All right, it's a quick music question. In case you didn't know, in Finland right now they're preparing for the Air Guitar World Championships. And we have 2 U.S. representatives there, one whose nickname is Aristotle.
Nice.
And the other whose nickname is Amazon Prime. But my question to you is, What song inspires you to play air guitar?
Is
if
there
you
a
were
Venn
gonna
diagram
compete?
between like the little kids in the Best American Mullets competition and the air guitar? Because if those kids were over there, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Boy, that's tough. I'm not a big air guitar.
But you've all done it.
Of course.
I would say Jimi Hendrix, National Anthem.
That's a top tenor. That's a top tenor. Yeah.
And patriotic.
Yeah.
Well done, Bill McCoshen.
I mean, The Risky Business one, Bob Seger, Old Time Rock and Roll. Like that's kind of a.
I said Boston
classic.
More Than a Feeling.
It's just you don't really get to shred though, do you?
Do some
There's
guitar
a lot of guitar
performance.
work in there.
There's no shame in that
A lot
Boston
of
game.
Who songs.
Yeah.
My backups were going to be "Walk This Way" by Aerosmith,
they're
Joe
good for
Perry.
that. Yeah.
and "Fight for Your Right" by the Beastie Boys.
Oh, well done.
Oh.
Well done.
What's yours?
I'm more of a Who fan, so I'm
Bob
going.
O'Reilly.
Sure, get that windmill arm going. Oh yeah, it's all about the showmanship.
All right, gentlemen, let's do it again next week.
Let's do
We
it.
had so much fun Labor Day, going into Labor Day weekend, and we'll have some fun. Sandy, Steve, WTMJ. Now, lots more to get to. We'll do it after the news, which is next on WTMJ.
More of WTMJ now after this.
It's WTMJ's Jeff Wagner for the Senior Real Estate Specialists at Bruce's team. If you've been holding off on selling your home or your parents' home to downsize, contact Senior Real Estate Specialists Bruce and Jean Nimovitz. You should enjoy the lifestyle you deserve. Learn how their team will help guide you every step of the way. Join me at their free in-person seminar September 12th at the Florian in Germantown. Doors open at 8:30 a.m., taking seniors from overwhelmed to I can do this. Plus, get critical information from local senior community representatives. Register at brucesteam.com.
Isn't a trust only for very wealthy people? Hi, I'm Kim Steinbrenner with Steinbrenner Financial Group and your Dave Ramsey SmartVestor Pro. Tune in to the Dave Ramsey program weeknights at 9 o'clock or visit steinbrennergroup.com to learn more.
Church and Chapel Funeral Homes. Family owned, family operated, family values. Church and Chapel Funeral Homes. There's one near you.
You got to get to Built Right today for affordable, better quality furniture and mattresses. Built Right.
Surf's up, San Diego. Time to come to a real city with a real team with real expectations. Our first place Brewers welcome the Padres to the Brew City.
Swinging a fly ball to left and deep. Way back. Get up.
Our Padres Brewers coverage gets you ready beginning at 6 p.m. We are your home of the Brewers. 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
Good morning. 10 o'clock, we have 69 degrees. A slight chance of sprinkles today, partly cloudy, cooler with a high of 78. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Connie Weber. Former President Donald Trump is back in New Jersey after surrendering to authorities in Georgia for charges of conspiring to overturn the 2020 election results. He says a trial in less than 2 months is way too soon. ABC Chief Legal Analyst Dan Abrams has more on the possible timeline.
I think that the classified documents case in front of Judge Cannon likely will not happen before the election. It's the D.C. case that I think actually might happen before the election. I think that's going to be tough, too, though. Look, I think it's probably 50-50 as to whether any of these cases will happen before the election, and Donald Trump is going to do everything he can to extend the time.
A political magazine Ipsos poll released today shows 62% of people surveyed said the former president should be tried before the election on the federal charges he mishandled classified documents. 61% said the 2020 election interference case should be tried before Americans vote for president next November. Wisconsin's top elections official says she will not testify next week at a Senate committee hearing on her reappointment. Elections Commission Administrator Megan Wolf leaning on a letter from the state attorney general that says lawmakers have no authority to force a vote on firing her. Republicans who control the Senate have vowed to oust her before next year's presidential election. Conspiracy theorists who falsely claim she was part of a plan to rig the 2020 election to secure President Joe Biden's victory over Donald Trump in Wisconsin. Of course, the former president was a no-show at Wednesday's debate here in Milwaukee, the residual effects of which could be felt for months to come. Milwaukee Business Journal editor-in-chief Mark Cass tells WTMJ local businesses could benefit the most between now and next year's RNC.
You had food companies, you had restaurants, you had events halls, you had trucking firms, you had transit firms, you had all these firms that were there who were kind of showing off their goods, and these people who were in town for both the event and for their meetings had a chance to meet these companies, to hear what they had to say, and hopefully hire them next year when they come to town.
According to the GOP, more than 300 vendors participated in the Republican Convention Partner Fair this week. 52 of them were minority-owned businesses, 48 were owned by women, and 2 were owned by veterans. A new trail connecting Wisconsin with Illinois, Kenosha County announcing an 8-mile mixed-use bike and pedestrian trail called the Midwest Interstate Trail. The project will connect Twin Lakes, Wisconsin to Spring Grove, Illinois, thanks to a land donation from Thielen Sand and Gravel. President Steve Thielen tells TMJ4 News,
I know enough of the long-term plans of Lake County, McHenry County, and Kenosha County, and I thought about our properties and how can we help? What can we do to make this work?
A start date for the project yet to be announced. The long dry spell in parts of Texas has uncovered some historic treasures.
Bill Milner has lived around the Neches River for years and riding along on his personal watercraft.
I wasn't sure what I was really seeing, but I could tell it was a very large vessel.
He shot video with his phone and took it to Susan Kilcrease
It blew my mind.
of the Ice House Museum in nearby Silsbee, Texas.
We could tell almost immediately it's constructed of wood.
Turns out the Neches River is a graveyard of World War I transport ships built in Orange, Texas. Completed too late to be used in the conflict, many were left to deteriorate and sink in the Neches River 100 years ago. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
Time for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is down 65 points, S&P 500 down 19, the NASDAQ off 82. Get on track with investment and retirement planning. Visit annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button today. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:03.
This report's sponsored by Mr. Holland's Heating and Air Conditioning. Visit MrHollandsHeatingandAir.com.
Are you backed up? Hey, it's okay. We all get a little backed up every now and then. And when that happens, you need a professional to get in there and blast out that blockage. Wait, you do know I'm talking about your pipes, right? At Mr. Holland's Home Services, we know from experience that a clogged drain is a big old pain. Left untreated, dirt, debris, and other sloppy sludge piles up in your pipes to form an annoying obstacle that prevents a steady flow of flushables. So if you're a little backed up, your drain that is, call Mr. Holland's Home Services. As long as we have an easy entry point, we can send a camera down your pipe to find the objectionable obstruction, and then we flush it out. Mr. Holland's Plumbing Prodigies have the training to get you draining. So don't get backed up. Take the strain off your drain and call 866-992-1717 or visit MrHollandsHomeservices.com. If you're feeling drained, we can help.
Greg Matzik here for Holiday Automotive in Fond du Lac. It's where to gear up, get more for your trade, and get in on enticing offers on Chevrolet, Buick, and GMC favorites, all while enjoying the genuine guest care that you're looking for to navigate today's car market with confidence. Choose one that's in stock today, reserve one that's on the way, or place an order for expert handling by the trusted team at Wisconsin's #1 Buick and GMC dealer per 2022 Buick and GMC zone sales records. Another option, explore the incredible value and peace of mind of a GM-certified pre-owned model with benefits like 2 factory-backed warranties, scheduled maintenance, courtesy transportation, and more. Driving a GM-certified model from Holiday is a no-brainer. As a repeat customer and fan myself, I know from experience you'll be in great hands with Team Holiday on your side. Find yours and discover the difference during the summer road trip sale at Holiday, Chevrolet, Buick, and GMC, Highway 41 and 23 in Fond du Lac, and at HolidayGM.com. It's worth the trip.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update.
The first place, Milwaukee Brewers are back at it tonight. Milwaukee.
Well, having some problems with that sports update. Let's take a look at your roads now with your Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver traffic. 94 from Highway 16 to the Zoo, about a 10-minute drive. The Zoo into downtown, running about 5. No other major problems to report this morning. 94 inbound from Layton Avenue to the Marquette Interchange is about a typical 6-minute drive this morning. Your WTMJ 5-day forecast, a slight chance of sprinkles today. Partly cloudy, cooler with a high 78. Partly cloudy tonight with a low 66. Partly cloudy, pleasant tomorrow, a high 73. Same for Sunday, sunshine with a high of 73. Then a slight chance for storms again on Monday. Partly cloudy with a high of 80. And Tuesday, mostly sunny with a high of 72. Right now, Madison 70 degrees, Green Bay 69, Milwaukee where it's 71 degrees. I'm Connie Weber. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:07.
It's WTMJ Now. News, opinions, Wisconsin. Everything you need to know in the Badger State and beyond. Now, here's your hosts, Sandy Maxx and Steve Scaffidi.
Indeed, happy Friday, everybody. Yes, big day in Georgia, big night in Georgia last night. For the fourth time this year, former President Donald Trump surrendering his fourth indictment related to his election defeat and interference. Joining us on the Tri-County Contracting Hotline is ABC expert legal analyst Royal Oakes. Welcome.
Hey, my pleasure to be here. Yeah, big day yesterday in the sense that for the first time, of course, Donald did have his mugshot taken in the first three criminal indictments that we've been reporting on for months. No mugshot. They figured, do we really need another picture of Donald Trump? But the DA in Atlanta figured, let's do it by the books. And, of course, Donald Trump did not look happy in this picture, kind of scowling. But the fact is, this is the kind of thing that helps him fundraise and helps him put even more distance between himself and the many Republicans who would like to get the nomination next year.
And Royal, why were all of these indicted people required to be fingerprinted and have mugshots in this case?
Well, yeah, it's the standard process when you get booked. You have to give your age and your height and your weight. You have to submit to fingerprinting, a mugshot, and then are you going to get released? Trump was on $200,000 bond. So it was all pretty standard, except there is this wrinkle of the mugshot that was not used before, but now he's had one. One other condition for his release, no social media use to target or harass or intimidate co-defendants and witnesses. So it was all pretty standard stuff yesterday. Next up is the arraignment, where you would appear, listen to the charges, and plead guilty or not guilty. But we're told that in Georgia, the defendants have a right to just skip the arraignment and say, Judge, I waive my right to appear there, so we may not see Donald Trump that first week in September, and several of the other defendants may figure that they have better things to do as well.
You mentioned extra condition, and social media conduct is something that really is one of the big stories about the former president, Donald Trump. Any chance that the judge in that indictment, or any of the other cases as well, says, you know what, you've gone too far? And if that is the case, and if they make that scolding or they make that recommendation, what would the possible penalties, what could they be?
Well, one option is for the judge, as the federal judge in Washington, D.C. in the January 6th trial said, one option is for the judge to say, look, I'm going to move the trial up. We're going to have a really speedy trial because the longer you're out and defying my orders and possibly tainting the jury pool, the more mischief that can occur. The more of a nuclear option would be for the judge to say, look, I told you not to intimidate. Now you did it. You're in contempt of court. Go directly to jail. And, of course, that would be an enormous event. It would certainly fuel the Trump narrative that what we're talking about here is a political persecution, not prosecution. He would be a political prisoner. And it's a tactical thing. I mean, Trump and his lawyers may say to themselves, boy, if I think that I've been raising money and separating myself from my opponents until now, wait till she locks me up for a few days or longer, then I'm going to be a total martyr. So you could see some drama down the road on that issue.
Definitely. We're talking with Royal Oakes, ABC News legal analyst. And Royal, what are some of the other tactics being done by Trump's former chief of staff, Mark Meadows, and also John Eastman?
Yeah, the big question is whether they're going to be able to move the case from state court to federal court. The federal court system, of course, is totally separate buildings, separate judges, separate laws, and different jury pools. For example, Fulton County in the state court, it's just one county, pretty much anti-Trump in terms of the vote pattern. But if you're in federal court, suddenly many more counties are in play. Could be more of a level playing field in terms of people's preconceived notions. The problem is To get to federal court, you have to convince a federal judge that you were, first, a federal employee who was acting in the course and scope of your job, and you're being accused of committing a crime in that course and scope, in which case, if you also have a federal defense, federal law defense, then you can stay in federal court. So far, Trump has lost that argument up in the Stormy Daniels case in New York City. We're going to see Monday morning whether Mark Meadows is able to convince a federal judge in Atlanta that his case should stay, and all the other defendants, including Trump, are going to be looking very carefully to see what they might need to do or say to get the heck out of Dodge and get into federal court away from state court, where DA Fannie Willis is much more comfortable.
Royal Oaks joining us at WTMJ now. I spent some time before the show, Royal, talking to some legal scholars, people who argued cases in front of Supreme Courts. And one of the things that I'm fascinated by, as an election cycle happens next year, this former president is involved in multiple cases, multiple jurisdictions. I don't even understand how that's physically possible, but the legal implications of all that, how is that going to be reconciled by Republicans as they try to move forward with the nomination process?
That's a great question, because everybody's been focusing on the short term, meaning, wow, Trump's doing great. He gets an indictment bump. He cracked wise a few weeks ago saying, I think I just need one more indictment and then I'll be reelected for sure. And his poll numbers are huge. He's raising money. That's short term. Long term, the worry for Trump is that Trump fatigue sets in. Maybe there is a conviction. Maybe he's just slogging through 4 criminal trials, trying to run to a dozen or more primary states. And so a lot of Republicans may say, you know what, we kind of liked you before. We're done with Trump world, so let's go to Chris Christie or Nikki Haley or whatever. That's the drama that could unfold in the next several months.
I know you remember Bush versus Gore, and I've asked this question of some scholars as well. They essentially said to Florida, you know what, we got this. We're gonna end this when it comes to the recount and all those things. Is there any, from your legal perspective as a legal analyst, any way that the Supreme Court, U.S. Supreme Court, could say, you know what, we have these multiple cases, multiple jurisdictions, we have to rule on some of these really challenging questions about elections and the power of a federal official to intervene with states? Any chance that something sort of reminiscent of Bush versus Gore could happen?
Yeah, it really could. So when you're on these tracks, whether it's 1 or 4, you're headed toward a jury trial. And a jury trial is a situation where the juries get to decide the facts as to guilt. But before you get to the jury, there are technical legal issues. For example, they're charging Trump with obstruction of justice. Well, usually that means destroying evidence, and he didn't do that. They're also charging him with fraud against the U.S. Usually that involves theft of money from the government, and he didn't do that. So these are technical legal arguments that Trump probably will be able to go up the appellate ladder on, maybe even to the U.S. Supreme Court, to try to get relief, to get some or all of the cases tossed out well before the jury stage. So, yeah, some very important legal wrangling and maneuvering over the next many months, even before you get close to a jury trial.
Love your wisdom on this. Royal Oaks, ABC News legal analyst. Thanks for taking the time.
You bet. Thanks.
Absolutely. See, that's what I love saying. I love getting these perspectives because he's been around these stories going all the way back to Bush Gore, and you get that perspective that says, boy, these are some big, big questions. And to be honest, as somebody who talks about politics and somebody who is really concerned about the direction of this country, I don't think we have any kind of sense of where this story is going to go. Legally, politically, I don't think we have any idea.
It's like a choose-your-own-adventure book. There are so many different options.
Exactly. A great analogy. She's Sandy. I'm Steve. You're listening, of course, to WTMJ Now.
Sandy and Steve will be back after this.
Hey, John Mercure here. Join me every Saturday at noon for Experience Wisconsin. We'll check in with communities across the state for the best and brightest spots in Wisconsin. This week, we're joined by Mindy Simons from Hayward Lakes.
There's a brat beer and wine tent, kids' activities, and live music, all in downtown Hayward.
And Milwaukee Downtown Bid District Number 21 CEO Beth Weirick. It's going to be a great show. It's Experience Wisconsin, Saturday at noon, right here on 620 WTMJ.
Hey, this is WTMJ. Steve Scaffidi for Advent. I've told you about it. Tossing and turning, snoring. If you've got that problem, Advent can help you. They did for me. I had the poor sleep. I had the tossing and turning. Nose wasn't working properly. Wasn't getting enough air in. I went to Advent for a quick 30-minute visit. They put me at ease. We did a really simple, I'm honest to God, really simple sleep study at home. Determine the root cause of my problem, sinuses and nasal passages. Now, everybody's different. Every solution is different. But after a short procedure done in office, I'm back to breathing well. My wife and I sleeping through the whole night, some of the best sleep we've ever had. That could be your story. If you struggle with restless nights like we did, take the time to see how Advent can help. To find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your nights better, go to AdventKnows.com, schedule an appointment today. Because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Russ bought his first home in Wisconsin with a mortgage from AccuNet when today's college freshmen were still in diapers. A few Friday mornings ago, Russ emailed saying he and his wife were ready to buy their forever home. And by 4 o'clock, we were all on a conference call with their real estate agent talking about what it would take to write a winning offer in today's inventory-starved market. And then it happened. They met their dream home face-to-face Saturday afternoon and wrote an offer $15,000 over asking, accompanied by an AccuNet property-specific pre-approval letter that guaranteed they could make good on that offer without selling their existing home first and without requiring an appraisal. That's right, no appraisal required, which both the listing agent and seller loved. I can't promise your very first offer will be accepted like Russ and Julie's, but I will promise AccuNet can help you and your agent craft the most attractive offer possible. Hey, don't settle for a flimsy, unimaginative bank pre-approval. Get started with your rock-solid, guaranteed pre-approval by clicking on the blue button today at accunet.com.
It's WTMJ Now.
Oh, there's one of those air guitar stories, songs we're talking about.
It's inspired to do a windmill arm and pretend you're Pete Townsend?
Yeah, and start thinking about that because we're going to talk about that in the 11 o'clock hour, your favorite air guitar song. Everybody's done it, right? I did it the other day in studio. I was listening to something. So everybody does it on occasion. And we don't always know which song triggers it, and sometimes it's just the mood you're in that day. Right?
Yep.
It catches your attention, and you just go for it. And sometimes you're in a crowded room. Sometimes you're all by yourself.
Feel the music.
All right. So we just had Royal Oakes on, who I'm a big fan of his work for ABC, legal analyst, talking about some of these big issues. So I thought today that we'd spend a little bit of time, since having a mugshot, an official court picture of a former president, is sort of a big deal. Because as far as I know, it hasn't happened before. And maybe somebody could correct me, but I don't think so. So on the X, formerly known as Twitter, I made it my show poll today. And here's how I kind of laid it out. And if you're not on the X or Twitter, you can certainly weigh in on the Old National Bank talking text line, 855-616-1620. So a mugshot from a Georgia jail may be the biggest visual legacy of the 45th president of the United States. Because we think back of all our former presidents, they almost always have a signature picture. You know, JFK, obviously, or Lyndon Johnson, or Jimmy Carter, Bill Clinton. They always have a picture that people kind of look at as sort of their visual or a picture that they associate with that president's tenure. What was your immediate reaction? So all of us, I think most of us have seen it by now. And it just Google Trump mugshot and you'll get the picture, and he's already fundraising on it.
And the simple description is he's looking more downward at I would say it's almost a challenging look.
Yeah,
his
fierce
brow is furrowed. It's a scowl, has been described like that. So
yeah,
he's looking intensely.
What did Bill Stead say? Glowering?
Glowering.
Yeah, menacing is another term.
Yes. So yeah, he's got his game face on. It's not a smile.
So what I gave you for choices, and these are my choices, and you can, and certainly we got a 50%er in here, so some people have already made their choice known. You can find the poll on the X, as I said, and if you're not on the X, you can vote on our Old National Bank talking text line. Number one, leading vote getter so far with almost 200 votes, which is well done, you guys. Did you practice that question mark? 50%. It seemed rehearsed, like he wanted to do that because he knew he was going to fundraise off of it.
Well, it's a milestone moment in your life, whether you're planning to raise money or not.
Thankfully, I haven't had that opportunity yet.
I haven't practiced in the mirror for this one, thankfully.
No. Complete travesty unfair. I would say this is about right. 9%, basically 8.9%. Worried for country. This is a big one, 31%. It is a worrisome sign when a president, former or otherwise, has a mugshot taken. That means there's a pretty good chance that a crime was committed, and obviously innocent until proven guilty, but it's not a good sign. Where do you weigh in? 855-616-1620. I'll start. I'll raise my hand like the
like you're on the debate stage.
Yes, which again was sophomoric and I think dumb, but set that aside. This is not a great time for our country. And one of the things I try to do when I position myself on any of the political questions that we talk about on this show is it good for America? This is not a good thing for America. We are going to see people go after each other. We're going to see people fall into their respective camps, political camps. We're going to hear more outrageous hot takes, because that's the world we live in now. Everybody's got a hot take. And as I often say, we need more smart takes. And none of that is a positive. And we have a political situation now where the leading candidate for Republicans, Donald Trump, by every measure that I've seen.
Say a strong leading candidate.
Yeah, it's not even close, really. And I don't, barring some unforeseen circumstance, I don't see that changing between now and when people actually start voting, which is the only thing that really matters. Polls are interesting, but that's not how we do things here. I don't see anything changing that. So we have a president, former president, Donald Trump, who will be facing multiple indictments. Just the physical requirements of going state to state and showing up at hearings, how much of that he'll have to do, we'll find out. Some judges may be lenient, some might not be. How does that even work? And all of this is destructive to the process. And I'm going to go back to what I said the other day after the debates, yesterday after the debate. When we're having these types of questions asked, and not questions about real things like our economy, international relations, border policy. I mean, you could pick any of them. Immigration policy.
Education,
crime. All of those things get shoved to the side, and we talk about political theater, which is what this is.
And how much the former president does or doesn't weigh.
Yeah.
All these distractions.
Just silliness. And I understand, save the text, I understand a lot of this sells. There's plenty of radio folks, plenty of TV folks making a lot of money talking about this stuff. It's a big deal, I get it. But is it the right thing? Is it the good thing? And I say no. What do you think? 855-616-1620. We'll take a break. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Calls are welcome. Texts are fine as well. Join us in this conversation. Don't forget, coming up in a little bit, virtual baseball sponsored by Siding Unlimited. Busy Friday here on WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this. Now batting for the Brewers Radio Network, play-by-play announcer Lane Grindle.
It does sound like a totally freak thing. I mean, we've seen that at times over the years, different injuries that have popped up. The best bat in Major League Baseball, one of the very few elite arms. He's in a very rare class when it comes to that. It's going to be entertaining over the next couple of weeks. I'm interested to see what the Brewers do.
Lane Grindle joins Wisconsin's afternoon news every Monday during the Brewers 2023 campaign.
Don't miss out on the Labor Day sale at Ken Michaels Furniture. Our entire showroom of heirloom quality furniture is on sale. Enjoy an unprecedented 37% off Norwalk furniture, as well as 40% off Bradenton Young and Hooker furniture. Create a sofa or chair as unique as you are with our thousands of customizable upholstery options. If you want spectacular discounts on their heirloom quality furniture, shop the Labor Day sale now at Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, and downtown Milwaukee. There's no doubt that a better night's sleep makes for better days, and a good quality mattress helps make it happen. When you buy your new Milwaukee mattress from Ken Michaels Furniture, you are assured of a mattress made individually for you out of the finest materials right from our own Milwaukee factory. We make every style, size, and firmness of mattress imaginable. And with our factory direct prices, you will save hundreds of dollars. Milwaukee mattresses from Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee, where better days come from a great night's sleep.
Life is just getting started at Three Pillars, Wisconsin's top-rated continuing care retirement community. Located on 300 beautiful Lake Country acres, Three Pillars is taking reservations for new high-end active adult residences. With 4 styles to choose from and amenities like a supper club, fitness center, spa, pub, dog park, trails, and gardens galore. The choice is easy as you start your next adventure. Learn more at threepillars.org.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
WTMJ Now.
Carry on my wayward son.
Oh, look, Kansas. This has always been, I know Kansas doesn't get a lot of respect. This has always been one of my favorite bands. I just love their sound.
I saw them at the Wisconsin State Fair a couple of years ago. They were spectacular.
Yeah, I saw them years
Great musicians.
ago. Yeah, they just put on a good show.
Yeah, I was very surprised. I was like, okay, I'll leave after I hear this song. And it's like, no, they're great.
I always thought they had a very unique sound.
And they do.
And as soon as you hear anything that they do, you know, oh, that's Kansas. Like right away. Mm-hmm. Which I think is cool. All right, so we asked you to deliver. We got a ton of texts on our Trump mugshot question. From the 920, you wonder how much that pick was worked on with his staff. I think it was certainly, they knew what they were doing. They wanted this menacing, grimacing picture so they could market it.
Well, it's a worldwide moment, and he's been, I think this is an interesting example of why he has been directed by the court not to be, it's interesting, he can't use intimidating words, according to the court. But this is an intimidating, it can be interpreted as an intimidating face.
Yeah, absolutely.
So couldn't the caption be one of his recent tweets is, go after me, I'm coming after you? That's what this face says.
From the 920, what do you think will happen if Trump wins the nomination and loses the general election? Do you think we'll have a repeat of the last 3 years? Unless he's in jail, yeah.
And you talk about Royal Oaks, ABC legal analyst just used the phrase Trump fatigue, that it might set in. I'm like, gosh, I don't think it will with his most loyal followers. But boy, 3 more years of this court back and forth and election integrity, that's going to be exhausting. So it's these next 3 months and 3 years are going to be very interesting.
This is a most important election of your lifetime. Everyone is. So, I mean, I'm not going to say that, but this is unknown, uncharted territory. We've not had a president facing multiple indictments while running a campaign to be president again. Disjointed, if he wins, which I don't think is going to happen, 10 years as president. He'd be the 45th and the 47th if he won in 2024 November, which I don't think is going to happen. And I tried to get as much as I could from Bill, and Bill's been very critical of the former president. But for Republicans, this is the signature moment. What will this party be? I saw a glimmer of hope with Nikki Haley. Now, I'm under no illusion that Nikki Haley is going to lead this charge and win the nomination and be president. Although I think her future is bright, and whether it's 2024 or 2028, she is a player, trust me. She's serious, and she's been a leader. And when I hear non-conservative women saying, I really like Nikki Haley, who never vote for Republicans, that's a factor that I think even Republicans have to acknowledge. Going back to the text line, totally disgusted. He's a con artist that only cares about himself. Money, doesn't give a damn about our country. Scott from Madison. What worries me for the country is that this will be like bankruptcy and divorce. The first time is the hardest. Who will be the next Trump, and what will he try? Yeah, you go down that slope, that slippery slope, what's next? How many other devious techniques to try to overturn an election will somebody come up with? There are fascinating legal questions here. The political ramifications are off the charts. And somebody said, well, you guys talk about it. Yeah, it is fodder for radio. Absolutely. I'm not going to deny that. I try to bring a balanced approach to it as somebody who doesn't like Trump, but is certainly a Republican voter. And I think that's something I will continue to do. He, in my opinion, and that's what I'm paid to do, he's not good for the party. He is not good for the party. And you can say what you want to say. And winning a nomination is certainly important. But winning the general election for Republicans should always be the goal. Winning any election for Republicans should be the goal if you like the policies of the Republican Party. And as we've seen in Wisconsin, 14 out of the last 17, going all crazy, going all angry, going all Trump, not the recipe for success. All right, we need 2 callers for Virtual Baseball, sponsored by Siding Unlimited. 855-616-1620. Who's going to win today? Not only a WTMJ prize package, but the chance to win a $500 gift card. Yes, $500 gift card from Siding Unlimited. We do a monthly drawing for that. 855-616-1620. Who's going to play ball after this on WTMJ Now?
More of WTMJ Now after this.
It's not a gimmick. It's simply comprehensive, fee-only financial planning to get all your arrows pointed in the right direction. And although rate of return is important, there are many factors that are equally, if not more important. There's a strong belief among financial experts that tax planning is more important than rate of return. And at Financial Strategies, we strongly believe that is what sets us apart. As a result of our strategies, our clients have saved significantly on their taxes. They were prepared to pay the taxes and elated when we shared how they could avoid them. We want to grow your investment and protect it, and we've proven to be very good at doing just that. I'm Jim Cantrell with Financial Strategies, Inc., and we can show you a wiser way to build your wealth. So go to financialstrategiesinc.com and schedule a no-cost consultation.
Financial strategies, a wiser way to build your wealth.
Hey, it's Friday. Get out of your kitchen for a great fish fry at the amazing Mine Shaft restaurant in Hartford. WTMJ's John Mercure here. I love the Mine Shaft fish fry. The cod is all you can eat. It's just $9.99. Don't spend $16 to $20 on a fish fry. At $9.99, the Mine Shaft is the best fish fry value in the state. All desserts are buy one, get one free, and the kids' menu starts at $3.99. Your kids can safely play in the world-class game room while you finish up that fish fry. Saturday, the prime rib dinner is under $25. And the Sunday brunch is all you can eat and just $14.99, the best brunch value anywhere. Kids and grandkids under 3, they always eat for free. The super affordable Mine Shaft restaurant on Main Street in beautiful downtown Hartford and right off the interstate in Oshkosh. It's easy access, plenty of free parking. Reserve your table for that $9.99 all-you-can-eat codfish fry today and the fabulous Sunday brunch. It's mineshaftrestaurant.com. Mineshaftrestaurant.com. It is the amazing Mine Shaft.
WTMJ now. Rain or shine, grab your bat and let's play ball. It's time for virtual baseball. Brought to you by Siding Unlimited on WTMJ now.
All right, let's play some ball. I asked for some contestants. We got it. Those phone lines were hopping out there, but joining us today on our Friday edition of Virtual Baseball, sponsored by Siding Unlimited, Joanne from Menominee Falls. Hi, Joanne.
Hello.
How are you on this Friday?
I'm doing fine. How about you?
I am wonderful. Thanks for asking.
Good morning.
So, how or what, I should say, should we know about Joanne from Menominee Falls?
I've lived in Menominee Falls about 10 years, married, and we have a 4-year-old daughter who keeps us busy here. So she's
I can imagine.
4K next week, though. Give me a little more free time once school starts. So.
And you a big baseball fan?
Yes.
All right.
Definitely.
So let's meet your opponent, Kathy from Salem. Hi, Kathy.
Hi, how are you?
I am good. How are you on this Friday? Awesome?
Awesome. Totally awesome.
Well done. Good.
Great attitude. All right, so Kathy from Salem, give me your 30-second bio.
Not much to say. I love sports.
You love sports.
That's a good start. Any kids, grandkids?
Baseball, basketball.
Kids, grandkids?
I have 3 kids, 2 granddaughters, and a great-grandson and a great-grandchild, we're not sure what, on the way.
Oh!
Congratulations. That'll be exciting.
All right.
It will be. I'm excited.
So, Kathy and Joanne, we have a special treat today because my former producer, now big-time sports guy, Brandon Snide, is in studio.
I love the big-time sports guy thing.
Well, one, you're
it's
big.
Like 3
and 2,
sports
you do sports
updates.
Well, you're big and you do sports.
I suppose.
So if you think about it, that's why it makes sense.
I suppose.
Look at me talking about being big. Brandon Snide is going to run through the ground rules. So picture us, Joanne and Kathy and Sandy and Steve and Brandon and Sam, producer Sam, all assemble around home plates for the ground rules.
Are we ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, these ground rules, we have 2 players. Today we have Joanne from Menominee Falls and Kathy from Salem. Each of these wonderful ladies gets a separate set of 10 highlights. Each of those include an equal number of hits and an equal number of outs. They are numbered 1 through 10. Joanne, you get 5 selections, and Kathy, you get 5 selections. After those 5 selections, we record only the hit in the highlight, not the runs scored in the highlight. After those 5 swings, the number of runs tallied becomes your official score. Now, there has been a lot of times where we've had ties this year.
Yeah, yes.
So if there is a tie, the home team will try to walk it off. The first caller is always the home team.
How do you judge your performance? Because you've done it before. That you just laid out this ground. Pretty good? You feel good about it?
I felt that was pretty good.
Yeah, I thought it was
that
solid.
was a cold read, too.
Yeah, it's solid. Yeah.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. If I got your blessing, then I'm good.
I'm comfortable with what you just laid out.
Let's play ball.
Sandy said, that was Sandy. Oh, for the audience, that was Sandy saying, enough of that nonsense.
Yeah, let's get into the game.
All right, Joanne, you're the home team. So Kathy is actually going to be up first. Kathy, you're going to have 5 picks, as we said. What's your first choice?
Number 4.
Number 4, we're going to go with Andrew Monasterio.
1-0 pitch, and this is lined into left, and it is going to drop in there for a base hit. Yelich is in. Contreras around third. He will score.
Pay no
Here
mind
comes
to the broadcaster telling you runners have scored. You now have a runner on base, which is always good when you're playing virtual baseball. Runner at first. Kathy, what's your second selection?
I'll take number 2.
Number 2, we have Mr. Willie Adames.
Here's the 1-1. And a high fly ball out to right center field. Straw is back at the warning track at the wall. Bye-bye baseball.
Kathy on the board.
Triple shy of the cycle.
That's a 2-run homer, Kathy. You have 2 runs in. Nice start. Third at bat. What's your pick?
Number 6.
Number 6, we have William Contreras.
Bieber's 1-0 pitch is lined into right field for a base hit for Contreras.
All right, another all-important base
William
runner.
Contreras has been on base.
Right in the offense today, early.
Was that Levering? It was that Levering, right? Or was
Yeah, no, that was
Grindle?
Grindle, yep.
Okay, I always get those guys mixed up.
I do. They sound alike.
Yeah, they're really close. All
Kathy,
right.
I love that you just make your gut choices.
Yeah, she
This
just
is
goes.
good. Who's your next batter? Who's your next batter?
Number 9.
Number 9, we'll go with Tyrone Taylor, who's been on a hot streak.
The 0-1 pitch. High drive, deep left, way back. This is on its way. This is way gone. We're tied. Tyrone Taylor.
Kathy's not messing around today. So, Kathy, that means with your 2-run homers, you have 4 runs in. With a final at-bat, this will probably be an exercise in folly because you used up all your homers. But let's see what you did on your 5th at-bat. What's your number?
7.
7.
Number 7, Carlos Santana.
Lined right into the glove of Freeman, who makes the catch.
All right, Kathy, nothing to be ashamed of. There are 4 runs across the plate, so well done you. Your opponent, Joanne, the home team. You know what you have to do, Joanne. 4 run gets you into the extra innings, the tiebreaker. 5 walks are off. 5 is, of course, the most you can score. Joanne, what's your first pick?
All right, let's pick 4.
Number 4, Mark Canna.
Canna, ground ball left side, into left, a base hit. Weimer scores. It's 6-1 Brewers.
All right, Joanne, you got an all-important base runner. That's good. Second selection.
All right, how about 7?
Number 7, we have Bryce Terrain.
Here it is. Bouncer back up the middle and played nicely by
Thought that might have snuck through there.
All right, Joanne. So 1 runner on. You have 3 at-bats left. You got to make these count. So base runners, home runs, you can still do it. What's your third pick?
All right, let's pick 8.
Number 8, we have Sal Frelick.
1-1 pitch, lined hard to first and caught by Freddie Freeman. He races back to the bag. Monasterio fell down. He couldn't get back there, and Freddie doubles him off. Inning over.
Oh, that's not good, Sam. So it's another out there. So let's see what you do in your 4th and 5th at bats. What's your 4th pick?
All right, let's try 2.
Number 2, we have Willie Adames.
Kopech checks his runners and throws. Swinging a line drive to left, a base hit. 1 runs in. Frelick's going to be sent around. Benintendi's throws towards the plate.
I kind of think we know where this is going to go, but you got 1 final at bat. You have 2 runners on, so let's make it interesting. Hit a home run here. What's your final pick?
All right, let's go 10.
There we go.
No, number 10, we have Victor Caratini.
Swinging a high fly ball. Deep center field. Nimmo back. We are tied.
We're not tied.
Victor Caratini with home run
Joanne,
number 4.
you managed to put 3 on the board. You just fell short, but thanks for playing virtual baseball, sponsored by Siding Unlimited, Joanne.
Thank you.
All right,
Thanks,
Kathy
Joanne.
from Salem, well done.
Thank you.
All right, so not only are you going to win a
That was
WTM.
exciting.
Yeah, it was exciting. Me, I thought the same.
Congratulations. Yeah. Joanne was creeping back up there.
Yeah, so Kathy, you're going to win a WTMJ
it was
prize
scary.
package and a chance to win a $500 gift card thanks to the folks at Siding Unlimited in our, what month are we in? August drawing, and that's coming to an end pretty soon. So good luck to you on that one. Thanks for playing virtual baseball. Producer Sam, take us to break.
I was going to take a train ride to Texas just to catch you guys one game. And my passport ran out 11 years ago.
You need a passport to get into Texas these days.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
This is going to be interesting, so pay attention.
Mountains and trees. Ducks and hunting dogs. Dinosaur bones. Meteorites. Steel that's carved like the leather stirrups on a Western saddle. Damascus steel, like they make swords out of. Carbon fiber. Hardwood.
Manly things.
Hardwood. You already said that. I know. I just like the sound of it. Hardwood. It does have a nice ring to it.
Ring. I see what you did there.
I'm sorry. I got us off track.
Kessler's has wedding bands for men.
Real men.
Made of manly things.
He wants you to wear a big, beautiful diamond so that everyone you meet will know how much he loves you. Why not insist that he wear something equally cool?
You'll tell your grandkids about the day you went shopping for this wedding band at Kessler's when they ask,
Where did you get such a cool ring? And what is it made of?
Welcome to Kessler's.
To find the Kessler's nearest you, go to KesslersDiamonds.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-577-0892.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-577-0892. That's 800-577-0892.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Roofing and exterior work are really tough jobs, and at Semper Fi, we're proud of our people. And when you work with great people, you deliver great results.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
Colliers, Wisconsin is in the business of finding companies the right home. Hi, I'm Lyle Landowski, President and CEO of Colliers, Wisconsin. When it came to our own space, we decided downtown Milwaukee was the place to be. Downtown has the amenities, activity, and access to talent that has propelled our growth for the last 10 years. We're proud to call downtown Milwaukee home and welcome the opportunity to help you become our neighbor. Experience it for yourself. Go to MilwaukeeDowntown.com.
You are a guaranteed winner with Siding Unlimited, Wisconsin's best contractor for your home's beauty and defense. Siding Unlimited is siding, of course, but so much more. Windows, roofing, decks. Siding Unlimited is recognized as the MVP in all those areas by customers and suppliers alike. You want major league work done on your house, so start by contacting Siding Unlimited. SidingUnlimited.com.
WTMJ Now.
We'll get to some of that music a little bit later in the program, 11 o'clock hour. Producer Brandon Snide and Big Time Sports Guy has stuck around. Talking a little Packers. The third preseason game will be played tomorrow at noon. I'm currently scheduled to go, although that may change because my wife's a little bit under the weather. But we'll see. It's a noon start, so hopefully things sort out. But Producer Brandon and Sports Guy Brandon, this team obviously has a lot of questions because we're going from the Rodgers era to the Jordan Love era. I think I talked to you about this last week away from the show. This is probably what surprises me most. The love that Love is getting from not only fans, I kind of expected that early on because he hasn't played in a real game yet, but the love he's getting from all the experts, including guys I have a lot of respect for that talk about football. They see him as maybe something pretty good.
Yeah, and you're seeing it over the course of the summer because of his play, both during the preseason games, which have been very efficient, a couple of touchdowns, a couple of really good drives, one against the New England Patriots. That was their number one defense, by the way. The Packers not having two of their starting offensive linemen in that game. Orchestrated a well-thought-out drive, scoring a touchdown there to Jaden Reed. But you're seeing what the benefits of what the blueprint Green Bay has laid out, and it has worked. right? It worked with Aaron Rodgers. You're seeing it work with Jordan Love. He was a raw prospect coming out of Utah State. He had multiple coordinators and coaches at Utah State, was playing with guys that, let's be honest, aren't very talented. They're not in the NFL right now like he would be if he was in a Power 5 school. And now you're seeing him develop under this Matt LaFleur system, be comfortable under it, know what the play call is. You've heard David Bakhtiari mention it before, talking about the command and the poise in the pocket. And it's all about confidence. And now he's ripping that thing. I mean, he had another fantastic practice yesterday. And really, I mean, I think the last 2 weeks, and I tweeted it out yesterday, something clicked with him over the last 2 weeks. Something, and it could just be as simple as being successful in the preseason, right? With that week 1 against Cincinnati where he went 5 for 8 and threw a touchdown. It might just be as simple as that.
Does this validate the sitting on the bench watching the All-Pro, the Pro Bowl, the future Hall of Famer play, as we saw with Aaron Rodgers sitting on the bench while Brett Favre was doing his thing? Does that validate that? I think you're going to see it more often than you do. Like now you get drafted in the top 5, top 10, top 15. Boom, you're starting. I mean, it's not a very successful situation. If you're getting drafted in the top 5, chances are you're going to a really bad team. And if you're going to a bad team, that's setting you up for failure as a young quarterback. And now Jordan Love has 3 years to learn this system, identify what this system is, learn his own techniques, work on his craft and hone those skills. And now you're seeing it when he goes out on that field. And I mean, there's not a throw that kid can't make. His arm is as strong. Thanks to you, I went to family night, and me and my dad, we walked down to the lower level. We were watching warm-ups, and the ball just jumps out of his hand. Which is what they said out of college, right?
And it's such a, and sometimes it's going to get him in trouble. He's going to overshoot guys like Luke Musgrave, over the top. He might underthrow a pass here and there. I mean, he's a human. There's going to be guys plays where he doesn't make, but his arm is as strong as Aaron Rodgers is. I mean, you're seeing him work on some of those off, center throws where he's changing the angle of his arm, which isn't a teachable thing. You either have that or you don't. And he's got every skill that he can have. It's just about setting him up for future success. And credit to Brian Gutekunst. I know he takes a lot of heat from every Packer fan in the world over the past year or two, but offensive line is stable. The receiver room looks, Aaron Rodgers may have worked with him in the offseason. Look what happened. I mean, their talent in that receiver room.
How patient will the fans be? Because that's the big question for me. Like, if he struggles a little bit, which everybody does, even the greats, how patient will the fans
Well,
be?
let me turn around and ask you two. What are your expectations for Green Bay? If you sit here and say your ceiling for the Packers is what this year?
I said it was 8-9, 9-8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sandy?
I think most people are looking for an even season.
Sure. So like
a credible start,
8,
yeah.
9, 9, and 8.
And I think a lot of people would like to see us win at least the first 3 games to feel like we have some momentum and go, okay, here, this is the guy.
Yeah,
kind of like what we did with Aaron Rodgers in 2008, 2009, right? So that's why I think people are going to be patient, because you're going into this year, you're not expecting to go to the playoffs. Maybe the playoffs, maybe compete for the division. Minnesota's got a pretty good squad again. Chicago looks to be improved. Detroit still thinks there's something. So your expectations, as most Packer fans are, well 500 or above. That's already expressing patience.
I think, or we'd just at least like to have a better record than the Jets.
Yeah, that's the big one.
Yeah, Well, and if you're a Packer fan, that's what you're ultimately rooting for. No, for me, I personally want to see Aaron Rodgers fail, play above that 65% threshold that he needs to play, and then go 4-12, 4-13, whatever it is, and just have a miserable time in New York, and the Packers get another top 15 draft pick. But I think most Packer fans are just going to be patient. They just show a little promise, and so far he's delivered. He's going to get another series, maybe 2 on Saturday afternoon. Yeah. And just keep developing, show what you got. This is a young team, one of the youngest in the NFL, the youngest receiver room in NFL history.
Well, let's hear from a fan. James joins us from the South Side. Hi, James. What's your question?
Yeah, well, this is exhibition. Wait till he plays in the real game. I mean, he's only played a couple snaps and everything else. The backup quarterback seems like he's better than Lovechild here. He seems like he's getting more play in that. He's a rookie.
Clifford, you're talking about Clifford.
Seems like what?
You're talking about Clifford.
Yes, I think that he seems like he's more. He can scramble and he can do things. It seems. I mean, he's throwing a few interceptions and stuff like that. But
all right, James, you're not in love with Love yet?
Well, I think. Okay, let me put it this way. I think 6-10 is the low point that I figured that he might be.
6 wins.
Like you guys are saying, but 500. That would be I think that would open my eyes and everybody else's eyes if he'd be 500 and make a statement that way. But like you said, he's got growing pains and everything else. Let's see what he can do. Can he open up? And throw the ball and make us really say, hey, we got a quarterback, or are we going to say, well, we got just an average quarterback and come back next year and we'll see what the heck happens next year.
James, would you rather have Aaron Rodgers as our quarterback this season?
No, no, I don't think so. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to have his own problems up in New York there. I think Aaron's going to either he's going to be on a jet out of town or a jet that's Mayday as it's going to crash one way or the other.
Hey, James, thanks for hanging out with us. Have a great weekend as well. Look, I'm not cheering against Aaron Rodgers. Why would I? I don't hate him.
Oh, I'm cheering against him.
You are? Why?
I don't hate him. It's all for the draft pick. The worse the Jets are, the better it is for the Packers.
Yeah, I understand that. But
and it's like that, that ex that you break up with and you don't want to see them succeed after your relationship. You just want to see them.
Why did you take it to dating?
Because that's kind of what it is. We were married to Aaron Rodgers for 15 seasons.
I did. You were with me. I wrote love letters to Aaron Rodgers.
I was just going to say, you of all people. Yeah, we're writing love letters.
What am I talking about?
Yeah.
I don't even know. See what James did to me? All right, James. Oh, you got me all worked up. All right, Brandon Stein, thanks for hanging out with us as well.
I appreciate you, too. Thank you very much.
I do miss you.
I miss you, too.
Yeah.
I make sure I stop up most mornings and see your face.
Maybe you could have lunch sometime.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll write a love letter to you.
I was going to say, where's my love letter?
I'll spend some time this afternoon working on it, okay? Get out of here. All right, we got to take a break. Steve and Sandy, WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this. Analyzing the best of the diamond from every degree. Brewers 360. Your comprehensive look at all things Brewers, on and off the field.
Swing and a drive to right and deep.
Hear from Brewers reporters, announcers, and members of the front office every morning on Wisconsin's Morning News at 7:45. It's Brewers 360, presented by Holiday Automotive and Outdoor Living Unlimited.
Russ bought his first home in Wisconsin with a mortgage from AccuNet when today's college freshmen were still in diapers. A few Friday mornings ago, Russ emailed saying he and his wife were ready to buy their forever home. And by 4 o'clock, we were all on a conference call with their real estate agent talking about what it would take to write a winning offer in today's inventory-starved market. And then it happened. They met their dream home face-to-face Saturday afternoon and wrote an offer $15,000 over asking, accompanied by an AccuNet property-specific pre-approval letter that guaranteed they could make good on that offer without selling their existing home first and without requiring an appraisal. That's right, no appraisal required, which both the listing agent and seller loved. I can't promise your very first offer will be accepted like Russ and Julie's, but I will promise AccuNet can help you and your agent craft the most attractive offer possible. Hey, don't settle for a flimsy, unimaginative bank pre-approval. Get started with your rock-solid, guaranteed pre-approval by clicking on the blue button today at accunet.com.
Thinking of selling the home you love but stopped in your tracks by fear and anxiety? Call Bruce's team of senior real estate specialists, taking you from overwhelmed to I can do this. 262-242-6177 or visit brucesteam.com.
You're just going to have to live with it. That's what I told myself. And if you can believe it, that's what the doctors told me.
Since Andy was a boy, he had health issues, which later we would find were primarily due to his trouble breathing. So for 36 years, Andy lived with about 85% blockage in his nose. He had to breathe through his mouth, because when he tried to breathe through his nose, it felt like he was being suffocated. It affected his sleep, his work life, and his ability to play sports. And he wasn't going to let it ruin his life anymore. So he came to Advent. As bad as it was, his problem required a simple solution. In-office balloon sinuplasty and turbinate reduction. Procedures you won't find offered by big box healthcare. This is Dr. Madan Kandula. It's definitely possible that your nasal breathing problems have a simple solution too. You can hear Andy's story in his own words at adventknowsandy.com and begin on your path to breathing well and living better.
Results may vary.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. It's WTMJ Now.
Good morning. I'm Sandy Maxx. With me in the studio, Steve Scaffidi, WTMJ Now, News, Opinions, Wisconsin. Also news, opinions, and why it matters. And one of the biggest events that's coming to Milwaukee and the fine state of Wisconsin next summer is the Republican National Convention. And with all the hoopla with the first presidential primary debate of the Republican Party Wednesday, which kind of feels like a long time ago,
right?
But it was so momentous. We have started a podcast here at WTMJ to cover all the different angles and ripples that the convention brings to our state. And it is called the Decision Wisconsin RNC Podcast Countdown to the RNC. And John Mercure of Wisconsin's Afternoon News is hosting this podcast with discussions with Milwaukee Business Journal Editor-in-Chief Mark Cass and TMJ4 Chief Political Reporter Charles Benson, talking with some of the biggest names across the political landscape from both sides and talking with business leaders here about really what it means to have the eyes of the political world on Wisconsin the next year.
This is as good as it gets. You not only have John, who's got years of experience talking about elections, you got Charles, who's probably one of those brilliant political reporters on politics, and then Mark Cass, who certainly has the business piece of that story, because it is all interrelated.
Yeah, the pulse.
All together in one place, talking about this big year in Wisconsin politics, U.S. politics.
And the first episode is out. You can listen online at WTMJ.com, or we can send you the link on your smartphone if you text RNC to the Old National Bank talk and text line at 855-616-1620. Get it now. Subscribe to the Countdown to the RNC podcast on WTMJ.
The best political coverage in Wisconsin right here at WTMJ. And speaking of podcasts, we are now available wherever you get podcasts. I know there's a problem with Apple. That has been rectified. Spotify, we are good. So if you missed any or all of the show, some of our special interviews, and we've done a heck of a lot of them since we created this program, they're all available for you. You can go find any of the old episodes of the show, the entire shows. And I actually use this because I go back and re-listen, especially when I know I'm going to have somebody on again.
Mm-hmm.
What did we talk about last time? And it's a great resource. And the cool thing about this is I know that my expectation is I want you to listen to all 3 hours. That's not reality. People have lives and they do things, they work and all that.
Yeah.
But you can actually go on your own time and listen to an entire program in about 2 hours, right?
Yep.
Of real time.
Yep.
And you can focus on the things you want to focus. You can fast forward. You can go backwards, to use an old term. It's all there for you. And that is the cool thing about doing a radio show like this. We can capture all of the great things we've done, and you can
with the
re-listen.
new technology.
Yeah. So easy way for you to do that. And if you're not a chaser of podcasts, just go to WTMJ.com. You can find all of our shows as well. All right, after the break, for news, the one, the only, the host of Wisconsin Weekend Morning News, Libby Collins, also host of Conversations, will join us for our weekly chat. Who knows what we might talk about? Who knows who she might have on this week?
I do.
Well, I do too. Come
and it's
on.
good.
I was teasing there. Who knows what she'll say after the news, which is next on WTMJ.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
Demi Loziga here. I've been wanting to shade in my backyard for years, and now that dream is coming true thanks to my friends at Comfort Awnings, located in Burlington. It's a local family-owned company that provides expert installation servicing Southeast Wisconsin and Northern Illinois. They came out to my house and walked me through the whole process, from different colors and fabrics, custom fit to my home's exterior and backyard. Right now, you can receive $200 off awnings and screens until the end of August. Call 414-AWNINGS for a free estimate or visit comfortawnings.com.
If you're a motorist of the four-wheel variety, please watch out for those of us in Wisconsin who do their traveling on two wheels. Adjust your mirrors to reduce your blind spots. Allow motorcyclists a full lane width. Use your turn signal when merging or changing lanes. And allow more following distance between you and the motorcycle. Motorists and motorcyclists can work together to achieve zero preventable deaths on Wisconsin roads. Zero in Wisconsin. Together we can save lives. Learn more at zeroinwisconsin.gov.
Sponsored by Wisconsin DOT.
Surf's up, San Diego. Time to come to a real city with a real team with real expectations. Our first place Brewers welcome the Padres to the Brew City.
Swinging a fly ball to left and deep. Way back. Get up.
Our Padres Brewers coverage gets you ready beginning at 6 p.m. We are your home of the Brewers. 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
11 o'clock, we have 69 degrees, partly cloudy, cooler today with a high of 78. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Connie Weber. Former President Trump may soon have to enter a plea in the Georgia election interference case. He surrendered at the Fulton County Jail last night after he was charged for his alleged efforts to overturn the state's 2020 election. Atlanta prosecutors pushing for the arraignment to happen this week, or rather happen the week of September 5th, and Trump may be required once again to appear in person. Soon, more GOP candidates for president could drop out of the race. Marquette University Law School poll director Charles Franklin says the next debate will have fewer participants than what we saw at Fiserv Forum earlier this week.
It requires you to be getting at least 3% in the polls instead of 1% in the polls. And for those folks that didn't make much of an impression, I think that's a big problem.
The next debate will be held in California in late September. Civil rights activists calling for more police accountability in Kenosha County. This after Kenosha police were seen on video arresting a man they suspected was involved in a hit and run inside of an Applebee's last month. Attorney Kevin O'Connor.
This officer, as far as I know, has not even been disciplined for anything related to this. We are calling to action for Kenosha, Pleasant Prairie, and Applebee's, and we'll take our next steps if that isn't happening.
The man in the video has been identified as Jermel English. English has since been charged with resisting arrest. The actual suspects involved in the car crash were found hiding in the restaurant's bathroom. Marching on the jailhouse, a community activist group planning a protest outside of the Milwaukee County Jail in response to a number of in-custody deaths at the facility. In the last 14 months, there have been 6 such deaths at the facility. The group, the Milwaukee Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression, says it wants the county to create a citizen oversight committee as well as a town hall meeting with Sheriff Danita Ball. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell warns that additional interest rate hikes could be coming.
We are attentive to signs that the economy may not be cooling as expected.
Powell delivering opening remarks today at the Kansas City Fed's Economic Policy Symposium in Jackson Hole, Wyoming today. The ultimate goal of the Fed is to get inflation down to 2%. Fort A.P. Hill in Virginia officially redesignated as Fort Walker today in honor of Dr. Mary Walker, also known as Dr. Mary, who treated wounded Union soldiers at field hospitals during the Civil War. Lieutenant General Nadja West is a retired 44th Surgeon General of the Army.
Naming this installation after someone who exemplifies courage, duty, honor, service to country, and humility, especially in the noble profession of an Army physician, will serve as an inspiration to all.
In November of 1865, Walker was awarded the Medal of Honor by President Andrew Johnson, even though she was a civilian who had never been a commissioned officer in military service. Movement on the possible reopening of a popular movie theater.
The Rosebud Cinema in Wauwatosa has been shut down since COVID 3 years ago. And now the Journal-Sentinel is reporting a community meeting is being organized to find a way to revive the iconic theater. This meeting will take place in September to, quote, explore the idea of reopening and operating the theater as a community-led nonprofit. Now, nothing is for certain. A meeting organizer tells the paper there are no specific proposals. Nothing's been promised. They're just looking to gauge interest in pursuing a reopening. The couches await. Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
Time for news about your money. In the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update, the Dow is now up 103 points, the S&P 500 is up 3, and the NASDAQ Composite is down 18. Get on track with investment and retirement planning. Visit annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button today. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:04.
The summer of lower prices continues at Fleet Farm. Take Sprout Vitamin Feed Supplement for livestock. 25-pound bags, now only $19.99. And for you birders, KT Midwest Regional Blend is just $12.99 for a 7-pound bag. Plus, get 12 mega rolls of Quilted Northern Ultra for only $12.99. And enjoy Fleet Farm Beef Jerky for just $8.79 a pack. Look for new lower prices on everything you need for everyday life with price drops at Fleet Farm.
I know you have a great dog, right? But you know there's room for improvement. At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we can help. Our attention-based training system uses modern technology to help you better communicate with your dog, even in high distraction. When you schedule a free consultation with us, you will have the opportunity to see our training in action and meet for yourself our happy dogs off leash and under control. Contact Sit Means Sit today at 262-361-3641 or find us on the web at sitmeansitwaukesha.com to schedule your free consultation so you can have a happy, confident, and obedient dog.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-777-1979. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-777-1979. That's 800-777-1979. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-777-1979. 800-777-1979.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update.
The first place, Milwaukee Brewers are back at it tonight. Milwaukee welcoming in the San Diego Padres tonight over at American Family Field to begin a 3-game series. Coverage of tonight's game will get underway on WTMJ beginning at 6 p.m. with our Brewers warm-up. Brandon Woodruff is expected to get the start for the Brewers. From the baseball diamond to the NFL, where the Green Bay Packers are prepping for their final preseason matchup of this summer. The Packers will take on the Seattle Seahawks at Lambeau Field this weekend. What is QB1 in Green Bay looking for in the team's final exhibition matchup?
I think just keep building what we're doing out there and get some more game reps.
Packers-Seahawks kickoff is set for noon on Saturday. I'm Brandon Snide, WTMJ Sports.
Taking a look at your roads with your Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver traffic. The only delays right now, that construction zone, I-43 between downtown and Brown Deer Road. Northbound's going to take you about 17 minutes during that 10-mile stretch. Southbound's going to take you about 14 minutes this morning.
Traffic is sponsored by Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee.
For heirloom quality furniture and mattresses at affordable prices, shop the store-wide Labor Day sale at Ken Michaels Furniture, located in Brookfield, Greenfield, and downtown Milwaukee. Stop in today.
Your WTMJ 5-day forecast, maybe a sprinkle today, otherwise partly cloudy, cooler, high 78. Overnight low tonight, 66. It's going to be nice for the weekend. Partly cloudy on Saturday, high 73. Sunday, sunshine with a high 73. Maybe a shower or storm on Monday with a high of 80. And then Tuesday back in the 70s, sunshine, a high 72. Madison 74, Green Bay 72, and Milwaukee 69 degrees. I'm Connie Weber. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:08.
It's WTMJ Now. News, opinions, Wisconsin. Everything you need to know in the Badger State and beyond. Now, here's your hosts, Sandy Maxx and Steve Scaffidi.
Yeah, I'm the Steve part of that equation. Sandy Maxx to my radio right, and one of our favorite teammates. Might be my favorite teammates. Do I have a new best friend at work? I don't know, maybe. Libby Collins joins us, host of Wisconsin Weekend Morning News.
Am I going to be getting one of those love letters?
You may. It's not just a love letter, Libby Collins. I do it on the air. I read it out loud with a musical backdrop.
You give me the best intros. I've got to introduce you to my husband. I want those intros every time I walk in the house.
You deserve them. Come on, Libby Collins. Trumpet your own, whatever that saying is. Blow your own trumpet. Blow your own horn.
Yes, toot your own horn.
Toot your own horn. Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you, Sandy.
I was going to get there eventually, ladies. All right, Libby Collins, you do the great show, the Sunday Conversations. What's on tap to steal Sandy's line this weekend?
Well, it is the time of year where 10 chimneys really take center stage. And I can't think of a more interesting person to talk to than Randy Bryant. And that's who we have this week, who he's been the executive director at 10 Chimneys for a number of years, but he has such an interesting backstory.
Yeah.
He was an executive for major corporations, literally being their representative all over the world. I mean, he has traveled extensively, and they would just sort of send him there and say, okay, Randy, make the deals. And he did it quite successfully.
For the folks who don't know, what is 10 Chimneys?
Oh, well, let's go back to 10 Chimneys. 10 Chimneys is the home of Lynn Fontanne and
Alfred Lunt.
Alfred Lunt, yes.
And what a wonderful Wisconsin landmark. On the arts page on Milwaukee PBS, I got to do an on-location shoot there and a full feature on just the wonderful architecture there. And every single building on the estate is its own unique building because the Lunt-Fontanne couple, who were so famous on Broadway, would host all of these actors on a retreat and hang out by the pool. And you know how you talk about if you're going to resell your house, make sure it's staged, make sure the walls are neutral. You don't want to turn off any visitors. This is a wonderfully, tastefully personalized estate. And Alfred Lunt even painted cherubs on the wall with different faces of his friends as the cherubs. I mean, it's a fascinating, wonderful space to explore and be in. And every August is when 10 Chimneys has their open house where you can roam around at will. But they definitely do tours and have great events there.
And of course, they have actors literally from all over the country who come for their special programs. And, you were talking about some of the historical figures who were at 10 Chimneys along with Fontanne and Lunt. And, well, Randy Bryant talks a little bit about that.
For actors, anyone that was involved in theater, literature, Helen Hayes would spend her summers there, Katharine Hepburn, Sir Laurence Olivier, Vincent Price, Montgomery Clift. I mean, really all the great actors of their time. And they had very close relationships with Winston Churchill, the Queen Mum. Noel Coward was their close friend, and he was there all the time. So it really was that place for artistic expression and inspiration.
And if you can imagine, and Sandy, I know you've been there a number of times, what those dinner conversations must have been like. Wouldn't you love to have been a fly on the wall?
I mean, it's the A-list of actors.
Oh, certainly.
In Wisconsin, people forget about our connections, our historical connections to some of this stuff, and that's might be one of the biggest when it comes to acting in our home state.
It certainly is. And
also, by the way, I love his voice. He's got a great voice.
Randy?
Yeah.
Oh, well, he's such an interesting person. I mean, it's not just about 10 Chimneys, but the other part is we talked about some of the programs that they run with people who literally, I mean, the leaders of stage have been at 10 Chimneys for these summer programs.
We have our partner theaters around the country, and they're all your major theaters, the Guthrie Theater in Minneapolis, the Manhattan Theater Club in New York, or Lincoln Center in New York, any of those major theaters. They're partner theaters with us, and there's a total of 84. They nominate up to 3 actors from each theater, and we only select 10 each year that are considered to be the top actors for their regions, and then they're brought on board and they work under the tutelage of a master teacher. In the past, it's been Olympia Dukakis, Lynn Redgrave, David Hyde Pierce, Alan Alda, and this year it's Jerry Zaks. You may not know the name. He's a director. He's been nominated for 8 Tony Awards, winning 4. He directed Bette Midler and David Hyde Pierce and Hello Dolly, directed Hugh Jackman in The Music Man, and also directed Mrs. Doubtfire on Broadway. Just a wonderful person. We're so excited to have him. He's truly iconic.
And these are the people who every year get together at 10 Chimneys, and we're fortunate enough that we're literally in driving distance where we can visit at various times. There's more to Randy Bryant, though, than just 10 Chimneys, and we'll talk about that in a couple minutes.
Yeah, let's take a break, because I want to ask you a question. This guy's a world traveler, too, and maybe you guys touch on some
amazing.
of that as part of your Sunday conversations. Libby Collins, our guest on WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
WTMJ's Jeff Wagner.
If it walks like a duck and it talks like a duck, it is probably a duck, right? I have been talking about this for the last 4 years. I told you so, I told you so, I told you so. It's Jeff Wagner story time. If you want to take back your city, it starts by going to the ballot box and voting out the people who are letting this stuff happen on a daily basis.
Weekdays from noon to 3 on WTMJ.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for Educators Credit Union. I joined last year, and I absolutely love working with the folks at Educators. Just had a nice meeting with them a couple weeks ago. When you open an Educators Credit Union checking account, you can say goodbye to those surprise fees. Nobody likes those. And hello to a whole lot of perks. Enjoy their rewards program, cash back, discounts, and their really cool card customization. I have an OC card, and everybody asking about it every time I use my debit card. That can be you as well. With their convenient digital services and nationwide network of over 60,000. Yes, 60,000 fee-free ATMs. You can also access your account anytime, anywhere. Join Educators Credit Union today. Take advantage of all the benefits that come with a checking account. Get started like I did at ECU.com. Of course, federally insured by NCUA.
You know, it feels good when I find something really cool and get a great deal on it.
But it feels even better when I know that the money I spend actually goes directly to helping others. That's why I shop at St. Vincent de Paul, because I always find the best bargains, and the money I spend stays in Milwaukee County to help fight hunger and eliminate poverty. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton in Greenfield and 23rd and Lincoln in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Attention taxpayers, ready for some bad news? With $80 billion in new funding from Congress, the IRS has launched their most aggressive hiring campaign ever to ramp up enforcement. If you're ignoring your taxes, don't delay another minute because your paycheck, your bank account, even your home or business could already be at risk. Now, here's the good news. Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax relief firm, can get to work immediately, helping to protect you from the IRS. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, their tax attorneys and licensed professionals are experts at resolving tax problems. Let them help determine if you qualify for the Fresh Start Initiative or other powerful IRS tax assistance programs. Take control. Call Optima Tax Relief now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
It's WTMJ Now.
Our guest on this Friday, 11 o'clock hour. Thanks for tuning in, by the way. Libby Collins, host of Wisconsin Weekend Morning News. I love Libby, and I love her Sunday Conversations program. It's often in my background while I'm enjoying maybe a cocktail on my nice patio. And
At 11 o'clock in the morning?
Oh, sure.
Oh, okay.
On a Sunday, are you kidding me?
Bloody Marys,
Yeah.
mimosas.
It doesn't have to be just that. It could be a Manhattan. I enjoy my weekends,
my.
Libby. I enjoy my
you-
weekends, Libby Collins.
I guess you do.
All right, so the Sunday Conversations program, you always bring a great voice, a great story, and the conversation is the interesting part. So tell us about this conversation this week.
Well, again, Randy Bryant, who we know from 10 Chimneys, has such an interesting background. As I said before, he's literally a world traveler, that he's represented major corporations throughout the world. But in addition to that, he has an interest in architecture. Much of which is because he saw some of the fabulous architecture in Europe and traveled in the Far East and saw some of that. But what he has done, along with his wife, and I'll tell you who that is in just a moment, they have purchased a number of these old buildings, old gracious Victorian type or even pre-Victorian type homes, especially here along the North Shore, and refurbished them. And that is quite a project. I would imagine that living abroad, and especially in Europe, which had so much history and so much architecture, is that what spurred your interest in taking old buildings and restoring them?
I always had an appreciation for the architecture and the building materials. I'm just so amazed when you think back that they didn't have the tools that we have today, and yet they were able to build these wonderful buildings. And when you look at our city is a city of immigrants. And one place I always love talking about is the Milwaukee County Historical Society, because there, when you look at these scraggly old columns that are there, and you have all the various immigrants that were there at the time that built that building, and yet it's one that is just to be marveled today. I consider it to be one of the crown jewels of the county.
And these are some of the homes that he and his wife, another name you might know, Cecilia Gore, who is the executive director of the Brewers Foundation. Together, they are some of the most gracious entertainers in the city, and these homes they do everything they can to bring them back to their original form. And again, he's such an interesting person. There's so much more to him. He grew up here in Milwaukee, and, well, you'll have to listen Sunday to hear about some of his experiences when he was just a little guy.
You know, my wife and I have started to stretch our legs figuratively when it comes to world travel. We've been on a bunch of excursions over the last few years. And I noticed that in your write-up that he has traveled all over the world. Did you guys talk about some of those experiences other than the architecture, which is really cool?
We did talk about some of it.
Yeah.
He has such a full life. It's just an amazing person.
But the work that both of them do, both Randy and Cecilia, in that historic preservation aspect of things is just wonderful, because to preserve history in a beautiful and engaging way, when you go to 10 Chimneys, stories unfold, and it's beautiful to look at, and it's fun to stroll the grounds. And now with these individual buildings that they're restoring and refurbing, and the loving care and detail, that's really inspiring and really a great way to preserve history and tradition and keep those stories going.
It certainly is. And by the way, because I know you like to look back at some of our interviews, we do have on the WTMJ.com Conversations page an interview we did a while back with Cecilia Gore.
Wonderful.
And about her work with the Brewers Foundation, and what an amazing lady she is. They're just a terrific couple.
Did you ever tally up how many you've done now? Conversations?
Oh, boy. Well.
And they're all available on our podcast page.
All of them. There's dozens, literally dozens.
And I tell you, it's a great resource because the wide variety of conversations you have. Sometimes I just go back and listen to little snippets just to get a sense of what that person is about, and it gives me ideas about future topics or future segments on the show. But it's a great thing that you get to do every week because you're like meeting a person often for the first time, right?
Oh, usually for the first time.
And then sharing these stories of how they're connected to us here in Wisconsin or even bigger than that.
And I try not to talk to them before they get here. So our conversations are fresh, just as we meet.
Like meeting somebody at a party.
Exactly.
That's the Larry King model. He didn't like to have previous conversations, just like to introduce it live on the air, which is a brave thing that you do.
I don't know if it's brave. I just love to learn about people, and that's what this show is about.
That's why you're good at it. Libby Collins, great to have you in studio.
Always my pleasure.
Always, yeah, it's my pleasure as well, our pleasure. Look forward to Sunday Conversations as I do every Sunday, and, of course, your great work on Wisconsin's Weekend Morning News. You're the best.
Thank you.
Quick break. WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
WTMJ's John Mercure here. Join me as we count down to the RNC in Milwaukee. We'll talk to the biggest names across the political landscape. Ronna McDaniel, she is the chair of the Republican National Committee.
The American public really wants to see what Republicans are putting forward and what our plan is to turn the tide.
Full podcast available on WTMJ.com or text RNC to the Old National Bank Talk and Text line 855-616-1620 and get a link sent directly to you. It's the countdown to the RNC podcast, only here on WTMJ.
This wasn't how Patrick here in Milwaukee pictured himself in retirement. Instead of playing golf every day, he could barely walk because of severe knee pain.
It hampered everything because it hurt to walk around the golf course. It hurt to swing, just pretty much hurt doing anything.
But the groundbreaking regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics changed everything for Patrick. QC Kinetics uses your body's own healing properties to help repair and restore damaged tissue in your knees, hips, back, and shoulders. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime.
The turnaround's been amazing from where I was to where I am now. I'm gone from a 15 handicap down to a 7 handicap. That's because my knees allow me to play golf like I haven't been able to play probably in 15 years.
Don't let joint pain keep you from doing what you love. Call QC Kinetics today for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Tom Ignite with 2 secret new homes that I've been developing over the past year that I based on the word value. And I don't equate value to price. If you could buy a Maserati for half price, the quality and looks would still be a Maserati, only a fantastic value. Go to the current home parade in Germantown and see even the lowest priced new home packages now at $500,000 to $700,000. Interest rates high, home prices high. My radical approach for my next home project has home and lot packages with 2 stories ranches from ta-da, $299,500. Home and lot. $299,500 on a beautiful lot, even with wooded backyards or lake views. Now, I have the closely guarded plans and display at my Tomorrow Ranch model for you to see this Sunday, special hours 12 till 5 p.m. in Hartford on Sky Park Drive. That's 830 Sky Park Drive, Hartford. Call Jackie 628-9091, 262-628-9091. We're Miracle, a Christian-based company.
WTMJ Now.
Good morning, 11:25. I'm Sandy Maxx, Steve Scaffidi on WTMJ Now. And we're still joined in the studio with Libby Collins from Wisconsin's Weekend Morning News.
She just wants to hang out.
And WTMJ Conversations. Well, I had a burning question for you. It's Friday. We like to have a little bit of fun. It's been such an intense week with the news cycle and everybody coming to town and arraignments, indictments. So let's have a little bit of fun. I want to know, Libby, you like music?
I love music.
What song inspires you to get out your air guitar and just go nuts?
Well, first of all, anything that Brian May from Queen plays, I think he is probably
That's
one of
top
the
shelf.
Yeah,
Good
no, I mean
choice.
he just blows me away every time I see him, and on TV or any of the videos.
And he's an astrophysicist. You can't go wrong.
Well, yeah, he understands movement, I guess. But yeah, Don't Stop Me Now. I love that song.
Ooh.
I love Don't Stop Me Now, and then that
Staccato, yes. Don't
yeah,
stop me now. Yes, I get
anything that's my go-to. Yeah.
Well,
okay. Although
excellent.
I'm a little tone deaf with my air
Doesn't
guitar.
matter with your air guitar. You don't have to tune an
Well,
air
my
guitar.
fingers don't work the way they should. But
Are you someone that would just burst into song in a public setting?
unfortunately, yes.
And don't leave the studio.
I do.
That's not
I
me
do.
generally. I
Oh
don't-
no. I like to do that.
Well, the good news is
Old time show tunes.
we
I didn't see that coming,
Channel
but yeah, sure.
Ethel
sure,
Merman coming
yeah.
out.
I do a very, very interesting Ethel Merman.
I believe that. I think we've got a future.
Everything's coming up roses.
I knew you wanted to. That's good, actually.
Yeah, thank you.
Libby's
Very good.
belting it out for us.
I love that.
Well, you have a year to work on your air guitar technique, both of you and me, because today is the grand final of the Air Guitar World Championships happening right now in Finland. You can live stream it. Unfortunately, we do not know who the finalist is just yet. With the time change, they've just started their competition, but you can live stream it. We have a couple of U.S. representatives in the Air Guitar World Championships. Matt Aristotle Burns, get it?
Clever.
Aristotle. Also, Hennessy Amazon Prime Williams.
That's even more clever. I
They
think.
are
Amazon,
repping,
yeah.
but also playing as a fella whose nickname is Slam Cabbage, a guy whose nickname is Lord Scrat, Lloyd Stonehenge Weema, and a guy whose nickname is Guitarantula.
I like that
That's
one.
clever.
That's a good one.
That's
Guitarantula.
really clever.
Did we figure out what the prize? What's the prize? For
You know,
this thing?
I don't know. I can look into that. While I look into what the prize for the Air Guitar World Championships is, we want to know from you on the Old National Bank Talk and Text line, 855-616-1620. Call us or text us. What song is it that inspires you to get out your air guitar unabashedly?
Well, did you say which one you like, Sandy?
You know what? I'm a big Who fan.
Yeah,
And
also good choice.
The Seeker is stuck in my head. I was in Chicago last week for a big memorial to a friend of mine who passed away, and that was his air guitar song. So I still have images of my friend Lynn Bramer just doing the windmill arms. So that would be the one I would go to right now.
I picked Boston.
I love
They
Boston.
got some great riffs. I mean,
Yeah.
that's not that might not be high level like Queen or.
Oh, that's solid.
Yeah,
you
it's
can't really go
it
wrong
shows
on
up
that.
on everybody's list. I mean, but here's the thing. Maybe you've done this. Maybe I've done this in public before, and then I realized
You've done air guitar?
Yeah, and then I realized I'm the only one doing it, and I look like a fool. So that's a weird thing that you want to avoid, because that's why is that radio guy doing that weird guitar thing?
Well, I'm telling you, it can be elevated to performance art with the grand final of the Air Guitar World Championships. It's pretty impressive. So let us know what your go-to air guitar song is on the Old National Bank Talk and Text line, 855-616-1620. We'll be back with some of those stellar selections, including already got a Guns N' Roses Sweet Child of Mine on 414.
Oh, that's a good one, too. All right, Steve and Sandy, WTMJ Now. Thank you, Libby.
Thank you.
Sandy and Steve will be back after this.
Hi, it's John Reitz from Great Midwest Bank. At GMB, we give back by supporting local nonprofits, such as the Alzheimer's Association Wisconsin chapter. Did you know that the local professionals who work at banks are often some of the first people to recognize early signs of Alzheimer's and other dementia in their customers? This can include a customer appearing lost or confused, or showing unusual behaviors with their accounts. At Great Midwest Bank, we take our community responsibilities seriously. We're proud to be a dementia-friendly bank with training from the Waukesha Aging and Disability Resource Center. If we notice potential signs of dementia during a customer visit, we connect with customers and their loved ones. This fall, you can make a difference too. Sign up for the Walk to End Alzheimer's at alz.org/walk. Visit greatmidwestbank.com to learn more about GMB's commitment to community and our Simply Giving mission.
Radio guy emeritus Gene Miller here for my friends at Hometown Windows and Doors. That's Hometown with an E for your every window and door need. Enjoy summer while it lasts, folks, because you know it's coming down the pike. Cold weather and high heating bills. It's not too soon to start thinking about new windows and doors from Hometown. They have options that fit every home, every style, and every budget, even yours. Their huge New Berlin showroom has the area's largest display of replacement windows, doors, and patio doors from national brands like Anderson, Pella, Marvin, Softline, and more. In wood, Fibrix, fiberglass, and vinyl, with scads of features including, wonder of wonders, blinds inside the glass. What's more, Hometown offers you dedicated project consultants with products installed by Hometown's own employee carpenters. Stop in today or call 414-329-1200 or go to hometownwindows.com. That's Hometown with an E for your every window and door need.
WTMJ Now.
That would be my pick for air guitar.
That is Steve Scaffidi playing air guitar right now on WTMJ Now.
I love the sound of them.
Just bust one out for the video stream. Let's see it. Oh, yeah. Well
absolutely.
done.
Probably not a good look, but Gianni from Montello actually has this is a popular choice, I'm guessing. So welcome, Gianni.
And we're talking about the grand final of the Air Guitar World Championships happening right now in Finland. Gianni, if you were competing, what would be your song?
Well, I would. Someone mentioned The Who, so I'm a big Pete Townsend fan. Townsend is up there with writers like Lennon and McCartney, Roger Waters, Jagger and Richards.
Agreed.
Dylan. I would say Won't Get Fooled Again. And I have a story. I'm an amateur musician, and doing air guitar, I screwed up my shoulder about 5 years ago, and it took a year to recover. So I didn't send the bill to Pete Townsend, but it was a long recovery, and there won't be any more Townsend twirls.
No more windmills?
No more windmills, not at my age.
That's a good one, Gianni. Thanks for taking the time. Yeah, the Who, you can't go wrong with a bunch of their. Bob O'Reilly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're all good. And Pete Townsend, man, that guy could crank. I mean, he was unbelievable.
Indeed.
And I think he's still performing, right?
They were. I used to joke and call the Who the Two because it's just Daltrey and Townsend now. Yeah. I saw them when the Bradley Center was still around the last time they were in town, so I'm not sure if they're still touring.
I think he does some solo stuff, and
Maybe.
it might be more talking than and talking about music versus playing with music. But I think he's still out and about. But and the text line is just like
I would say
loaded.
music is a great inspiration from 414. Crazy on You by Heart. That opening sequence is awesome.
Yeah, anything Heart I love.
Sure. 920 Enter Sandman Metallica. Sure.
Yeah, popularized by many relief pitchers in baseball walking into that song.
Yes. 920 Eruption by Van Halen. That was on my short list. Also Tesla Love Song. I like that idea.
I don't know that song. Should I know that song?
I like that it's a little more acoustic as well. Tim in East Troy, AC/DC, Thunderstruck. That's the way to go.
ZZ Top's always a popular one.
Oh, sure.
Because they got all those guitar players.
How? I love the local angle. Claude in St. Francis texted in Daryl Sturmer or Jimi Hendrix. Great air guitar songs from both of those.
I didn't think about this guy, but Lenny Kravitz.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, very popular still. Obviously, he does a lot more than just music. He's acting. He's an artist. He's a fashion model.
Yeah. 920 says, Lenny, are you going to go my way? Also, Jim in Milwaukee, Dire Straits. Money for Nothing.
Yeah, there's so many
Mark
good
Knopfler,
ones.
very good guitarist. Bernie in Sheboygan Falls says, Neil Young's Like a Hurricane.
That is a great song.
Mike in Heartland, Rock You Like a Hurricane. Scorpions.
I don't know this one either. Ozzy Over the Mountain.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Yeah. Maybe Sam can find that for us.
Ricky in Milwaukee, Nils Klein solo in Wilco's Impossible Germany. Nice choice. Wilco, band out of Chicago.
Let's see. Yeah, Daryl Sturmer's an interesting guy because he's a local guy and so much success.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he still teaches music, teaches other people.
And he was on, I started to say Germany's last tour, Genesis's last tour.
Which was when?
A little while back.
Yeah.
But with Phil Collins' poor health and all that good stuff. But yeah. Molly Hatchet. There you go. There's a rock band.
Yeah, there's a grinder.
Dreams I'll Never See. Thanks to 262 for texting in on the Old National Bank Talk and Text line 855-616-1620. just a fun Friday and I'll keep my eye on it over the weekend. And on Monday, I can reveal to you who wins the air guitar World Championships 2023 happening right now in Finland. And I'm telling you, you can find a live stream of it, and people go all out. They're in different costumes. There are singular air guitarists. There are trios and groups of air guitarists. I don't know what the different categories are, but this is a fun way to express yourself.
I'm going to Google this during the break, but I remember when I was in high school, this phenomena of air guitar used to fill up the high school talent shows. Like 3/4 of the acts would be air guitaring songs.
Were they invisible air guitars, or were they guitars as props?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, fake guitars, cardboard guitars, real guitars, no guitars, all of that.
Somebody could go rogue here and go air guitar and have a Howard Jones song if you wanted.
There you go. I'm curious. Like, I'm going to look it up. Like, when this started, this phenomena. It's got to be 60s, 70s, right?
And when we come back, I'll share with you the surprising purpose of the Air Guitar World Championships. It might surprise you.
Yeah, that's a good one. She's Sandy, I'm Steve. You're listening, of course, to WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
Russ bought his first home in Wisconsin with a mortgage from Accunet when today's college freshmen were still in diapers. A few Friday mornings ago, Russ emailed saying he and his wife were ready to buy their forever home. And by 4 o'clock, we were all on a conference call with their real estate agent talking about what it would take to write a winning offer in today's inventory-starved market. And then it happened. They met their dream home face-to-face Saturday afternoon and wrote an offer $15,000 over asking, accompanied by an Accunet property-specific pre-approval letter that guaranteed they could make good on that offer without selling their existing home first and without requiring an appraisal. That's right, no appraisal required, which both the listing agent and seller loved. I can't promise your very first offer will be accepted like Russ and Julie's, but I will promise Accunet can help you and your agent craft the most attractive offer possible. Hey, don't settle for a flimsy, unimaginative bank pre-approval. Get started with your rock-solid, guaranteed pre-approval by clicking on the blue button today at accunet.com.
I love the Fox and Hounds. WTMJ's John Mercure here. The historic restaurant was recently voted the best supper club in the area. It first opened in 1933 and has been serving fabulous dinners to families like yours for almost 90 years in their rustic timber structure. The Friday cod fish fry is all you care to eat, just $15.99. All other dinners are buy one, get one free. The made-from-scratch desserts are also buy one, get one free. I love the chocolate cake and the ice cream. Add a Manhattan, an old-fashioned, or choose from over 100 wines to accent your dinner. The Fox and Hounds is family-owned and one of the most unique and affordable supper clubs in Wisconsin, and your second dinner is always free. Just off Highway 167, 2 miles east and in the shadows of the beautiful Holy Hill Shrine. The summer drive is spectacular, a must-see. Enjoy the all-you-care-to-eat Friday cod fish fry and the Sunday brunch. It is one of the best. I love it. Tables are still open, but reserve now at foxandhoundsrestaurant.com. It'll lift your spirits. The famous Fox and Hounds.
At Staples, school savings are always in session, from art supplies and essentials to the latest tech. In stock and priced low. School on, save on at your local Staples store.
Don't miss out on the Labor Day sale at Ken Michaels Furniture. Our entire showroom of heirloom quality furniture is on sale. Enjoy an unprecedented 37% off Norwalk furniture, as well as 40% off Bradenton Young and Hooker furniture. Create a sofa or chair as unique as you are with our thousands of customizable upholstery options. If you want spectacular discounts on their heirloom quality furniture, shop the Labor Day sale now at Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, and downtown Milwaukee. Do you love the simplicity and enduring quality of Scandinavian design? Then the Fjords Labor Day sale at Ken Michaels Furniture is for you. Inspired by tradition and built to last, Fjords brings the best modern Norwegian furniture designed to your home. Save up to 20% on these ergonomic recliners engineered with comfort in mind. Available in a variety of shapes, sizes, leathers, and finishes to match any decor. Stop in today during our Labor Day sale at Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, and downtown Milwaukee. Sale ends soon.
WTMJ Now.
Ah, there we go.
There's for Steve in West Bend, Ozzy's Over the Mountain, a song that inspires him to play air guitar. I can imagine you now, Steve in West Bend.
That got Sam rocking in the producer's booth there, producer studio. All right, so I looked it up, Sandy Maxx.
Yes, Steve Scaffidi.
There were some early references, but the big one was Joe Cocker, 1969 at Woodstock, was air guitaring, apparently.
He had a very frenetic presence anyway. I could see him gyrating on stage. And
so that's the one historically that a lot of people look at, 68, 69, that time period.
And I don't know how long this has been going on, but tonight, right now, the grand final of the Air Guitar World Championships 2023, right now in Finland. If you sniff around, you can find a live stream. I did post it on my Facebook because it's performance art. It's people in costumes going into a theme, just getting all the way into some of their favorite songs. And a couple of U.S. representatives were being repped in Finland. Aristotle Burns and Amazon Prime Williams are two of the American contenders in the Air Guitar World Championship. So if you were going to be performing, we asked the question, and it's still open, the Old National Bank Talk and Text line, 855-616-1620. What's the song that gets you?
Did you see the one, I didn't think about this one, Hotel California.
Ooh.
There's some great riffs in there.
If you can manage, you would want to do that with another person because of the double guitar solos in that. But that would be a fun one. And also, Steve, did you notice from 414 texted, they used to have air guitar bands at Summerfest in the early 80s.
I don't recall that.
That cracks me up. But some other great songs that we've heard inspiration. Joe Bonamassa, who you see on Milwaukee PBS quite often. Joan in New Berlin said, Joe Bonamassa, Never Give Her All Your Love, is the one that gets her playing air guitar.
Mike from Heartland, in 1987, I was in an air band competition at the Palms nightclub.
Oh!
I remember that. On Wells, we took second place.
Well, congratulations.
Nice job, Mike. Still got the trophy?
I wonder if the first place winner is listening. I'd like to hear from them. Jim in Milwaukee, anything on the jukebox after a few drinks to impress the ladies. See? It's almost like dancing. If you can show that you're into the music, I like that. Born to be Wild from 414. Aaron in Chicago, Alice Cooper. School's Out.
You could even find Kiss songs that you could rock yourself crazy doing air guitar.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Who wouldn't be a good air guitar? Like who? Like the Carpenters, probably not, right? No. But that's vocals and piano. That wouldn't work.
You could air drum along like Karen.
That's right.
Prince, Purple Rain from 262. That's a good call.
Prince, if he was still alive, it would be literally top 5 guitarists in the world.
Sure.
The guy,
Eric Clapton, too, Crossroads.
Prince did the Beatles song, While My Guitar Gently Weeps.
On stage with...
Oh, my...
Yeah, Tom Petty was on that stage.
If you've never seen that on YouTube or wherever you can find, go watch it. You talk about playing a guitar at the highest level, and I don't know if he was just doing that on, obviously out of memory because he's a brilliant he was a brilliant musician, but it's absolutely incredible. Even the other artists are like, "Damn, Prince, go."
It's fun to see the other guitarists on stage be impressed as well.
Yeah,
that's a lot of talent on that stage. Great guitar song from 262, Jungle Love by Steve Miller Band. Oh, this is a good one. I like Classical Gas.
Yeah.
Mason Williams and the Wrecking Crew, who did so much background music for so many epic songs from the 70s.
Here's 2 obvious ones that I can't believe I missed.
Yeah.
Stranglehold Nugent.
Oh,
that's
another long
that's a no-brainer.
Song, sure.
And the one that makes the top 10 list, Freebird.
Yeah, definitely.
That's an easy one.
Andrew in Dallas says Crazy Train. Triumph, an underrated band.
Yeah.
Lay It on the Line from 920.
I had one of their albums.
Good stuff.
Good
stuff.
REO
Ooh.
Speedwagon.
Hey, air piano with Roll with the Changes, 414. I like it. So let the music inspire you to have some fun on this Friday, and I will be glad to announce on Monday, I'll keep an eye on this, who the winner of the Air Guitar World Championships is. Also, I told you I was going to reveal the purpose of the Air Guitar World Championships.
Yes, you got to tell people.
If you remember, on July 18th, I was able to give out some birthday wishes for my birthday, and Steve mocked me for one of mine. I wanted world peace. Well, the purpose of the Air Guitar World Championships is to promote world peace.
How's that working out for everybody?
But they're going towards the good. They're going towards the good. According to the ideology of the competition, they say wars would end, climate change would stop, and all bad things would disappear if all the people in the world played air guitar. This is why the whole universe is invited to play air guitar for the world peace at the end of the competition.
This is where Sam should play Kumbaya. It's really what should happen right now. But instead, she's going to play Week in Review in a second.
Look up hashtag Make Air Not War. That's what they're...
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's so cliched. Like, you don't want it. It's like when that's the first thing out of your mouth. It's like, come on, really?
You have to dig to find their actual, mission. It's really performance art and fun.
All right, one of our regular Friday features, of course, is the Week in Review. This week is no different. A historical political night for Milwaukee. A heat dome engulfs the region. A unique Brewers first pitch. and more. It's the Weekend Review brought to you by Outdoor Living Unlimited.
What we do here is go back.
Weekend of violence continued Sunday night. Milwaukee police investigating a quadruple shooting. Police called to the scene. This was 13th and Mitchell, about 8:30. Just blocks from where that man opened fire Saturday night, injuring 9.
Tropical storm Hillary swamped arid parts of Mexico and then drenched southern California, forcing rescuers to pull several people from swollen rivers.
Well, there was a tropical storm in the area in the late 90s. The National Weather Service says Hillary was the first to directly impact Southern California since the 1930s.
August 22nd at 7 p.m., I will be at American Family Field to throw out the first pitch when the Milwaukee Brewers take on the Minnesota Twins.
We are joined by a very special guest as we celebrate superheroes tonight. Please welcome to the field, Milwaukee's home,
This is like a fever dream.
According to Russian media, Russia's Federal Air Transport Agency says Yevgeny Prigozhin is listed as being among the passengers aboard a private jet that crashed in the Tver region on Wednesday.
I don't know for a fact what happened, but I'm not surprised.
Welcome back to the program. In studio, the representative of the 14th Congressional District in the state of Georgia, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Miss Representative, thank you for being here and welcome to Milwaukee.
Thanks for having me on today.
Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, are you a racist?
Boy, that escalated quickly.
Absolutely not. That is absurd.
Is Donald Trump a racist?
Absolutely not.
Why is it so hot here? A WTMJ Fleet Farm Storm Team alert and excessive heat warning now in effect for today.
The models are all going 100 or close to it.
We are expecting heat index values to climb as high as 115 degrees.
It's prolonged heat that makes heat the #1 weather-related killer in the United States.
We're likely to see some of the hottest temperatures we've seen all summer long today, so I want folks to take some precautions there.
Incoming freshman Arani Verchanian says there are just some things you can't do dorm life without.
Lots of fans because it's really hot today. Maybe open windows.
Probably sit in front of the fan in my dorm. That's all I got for now.
Eventually, late afternoon and evening, that lake breeze kicks in, and there's the end of our little mini heat wave.
It's a who's who in the GOP political world, all in downtown Milwaukee. Republican presidential candidates gearing up for the first GOP primary debate tonight.
This is going to be unconventional because, of course, the frontrunner in this race, former President Donald Trump, will not be on the stage.
For him to show up as almost a Babe Ruth with a bunch of T-ball players, it doesn't make any sense.
Based on what we're seeing in polling, they don't want to see these candidates just go up there and trash Trump, to use a term. They want to see how you contrast yourself to the former president.
Adam Roberts with you inside the spin room, hours away from the first Republican presidential debate. Only one candidate has made their way into the spin room so far this afternoon. That would be North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum. He tore his ACL on Tuesday playing a pickup basketball game.
If you're going to lead this country, you ought to be able to stand on one leg for 2 hours.
No justice, no peace.
Dozens of protesters from Milwaukee to Florida.
Shut it down!
Marching with a variety of messages.
Hate is not welcome here!
Aimed at the Republican Party.
They just don't represent anything anymore for the majority of America, and I'm really tired of it.
Welcome to the first debate of the 2024 presidential campaign, live at Fiserv Forum in Milwaukee.
Our country is in decline. This decline is not inevitable, it's a choice.
Joe Biden has weakened this country at home and abroad. Now is not the time for on-the-job training.
I'm the only person on the stage who isn't bought and paid for, so I can say this. The climate change agenda is a hoax. The climate change agenda is a hoax.
I've had enough already tonight of a guy who sounds like ChatGPT.
How do you do, fellow kids?
This is exactly why Margaret Thatcher said, if you want something said, ask a man. If you want something done, ask a woman.
Donald Trump Jr. making his way into the media filing center after the debate wrapped up, but he wasn't allowed in the spin room by hosts Fox News.
So apparently I can't go there because, again, I can't represent my father just like I couldn't when he was first indicted.
What were your impressions of what happened tonight?
With the exception of Donald Trump not being there, they played up to their percentage. I would put Nikki Haley above Ron DeSantis.
I agree with you.
He has like Scott Walker syndrome. Once he stops talking, it's like he disappears.
That's going to wrap it up. I'm John Mercure. Enjoy the rest of your night.
What a week, eh?
What a week.
Okay, guys, take care and goodbye.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.
Oh, thanks to producer Adam Roberts for putting that together. And we do it every Friday, so you can always look forward to that. All the voices and the stories and the big events, and certainly the debate in Milwaukee was part one, chapter one of a brilliant next year when it comes to politics in the state of Wisconsin. I can't wait. It's going to be amazing. The guest list is incredible, and all eyes, all the stories could be generated right from this state, especially when you're talking about the nomination of a Republican candidate for president next summer. Big stuff. Big stuff. All right, Sandy, Steve, WTMJ now. We'll take a break. We'll see what Jeff Wagner's, after 2 days off, he's probably got a lot on his plate. We'll see what he's going to talk about after this on WTMJ.
No matter the hour.
We are following a developing and breaking story out of Waukesha.
No matter the day.
Russia continues its invasion of Ukraine as President Biden announces sanctions.
The news doesn't stop.
An abortion ban now in place in Wisconsin.
And neither do we.
Over 1,000 years is how long Darrell Brooks Jr. will spend behind bars.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
National Weather Service calling it a once-in-a-generation event.
News Radio 620.
WTMJ.
It's outdoor living time. Make the most of it this year. Let Outdoor Living Unlimited transform your space into your outdoor living dream. A deck, a patio, pergola, fire pit, maybe even an outdoor kitchen. Outdoor Living Unlimited is a local, family-owned company that consults, designs, and builds these things. We live for summer around here. Make the most of it with help from Outdoor Living Unlimited. See OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
Doesn't it seem like you never have anything to wear? That's why I shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores. Whether it's a designer top, jeans, an adorable skirt, or cute accessories, I always seem to find something I like. And at prices I love. Gently used women's clothing and accessories for far less than you thought possible. At St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield and 23rd in Lincoln in Milwaukee.
Ooh, you're gonna love it. St. Vincent de Paul.
Now's a great time to get signed up for your exterior work, like siding and windows. Why put it off? The lines are shorter, and we'll be ready to take on your next project.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.